Are we live? Can you guys see us?
All right.
Give us a thumbs
Give
up.
us a thumbs up if you can.
If you
Yay!
can see us.
Hi, David. How are you?
I think the camera's a little crooked.
Camera's a little crooked. It's okay. There we go. That's better.
Better?
That's much better.
Hi, guys.
Hi. How are you guys? Oh my goodness, there's so much is happening. This is going to be one of the most intense weeks of our lives, I think, next week.
Yes.
Really, really intense.
Yes.
So I'm just looking forward to all of this being over.
Only a couple more days, you guys. This is just...
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Really hard to believe. All right. Well, we have quite a few things to go over today.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go over... actually, we have some really exciting news that we want to talk about.
Very exciting news. We're going to actually announce that a little bit later.
Yes.
Because there's so much to talk about.
We've actually wanted to announce it for months now, but we couldn't. So it's kind of really cool that we'll be able to do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, we have to talk about the upcoming election.
Mm-hmm.
We have quite a few polls that are out that are really, really interesting. And just everything that's happening. I mean, it's really, really crazy. Amy Barrett was nominated, which is really, really exciting. Yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy wild ride. And I feel like we're almost at the end of it, except reality, most likely we're probably not. We won't know anything after the election, most likely.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I don't know what your predictions are on all of this. I know we'll get into that soon. But I don't think we're gonna know. I don't think we're gonna know right away who won.
No, yeah, probably not.
And I think a lot of people are feeling that as well.
Hi, Ting.
Oh, hi Ting.
Yay. So, yeah, okay. Well, first, I guess the first thing we need to talk about, have you guys voted yet? I'm kind of really curious. Has anyone voted? Because we haven't voted yet, and we're voting actually on election day. I have our voting, everything is filled out, really, really excited. We have our little...
I don't know if you can...
If you guys see them?
Can see it.
They can't see. Oh, what a shame.
Oh, no.
It says Women for Trump 2020. We actually bought this from the Trump campaign when we donated money.
You see?
Closer, can you see?
There we go.
Yeah. Did it show?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really exciting too because we were able to, when we donated to the Trump campaign, we also decided to buy a few things. And this is one of the things that we wanted to buy. And the funny thing is, we wanted to wear it literally every single live, and every single time we forgot to wear it.
Them.
Yeah,
but I guess you can't even see them now.
So I guess it doesn't really make a difference. But it's really pretty, and it just says "Women for Trump," which is really cool.
Very exciting. So let us know if you guys have voted yet. That would be very interesting to know.
Yeah, I'm really dying. And also, like, the interesting thing is talking to a lot of my friends who, a lot of them are very, very, very far to the left. Obviously, they're very excited. They've already voted. They're very excited for the prospect of Harris.
Cher.
Hi, Cher. You did? Oh, cool. Okay, good. You took it to the county auditor's office. Yeah,
very good. Yes,
we are not voting in the mail either, and actually, really cool. We're kind of excited because we are going to be voting on Tuesday. We already have our vote ballot filled out and everything. We just have to drop it off, and then we're going to be going on a mini vacation for a little bit, just to kind of get away from all the total craziness that has been going around since the election.
It's going to be a family getaway, much needed time with family.
Yeah, and our doggies, of course.
Yes, spend some time in nature, which I highly, highly recommend everybody to do to get grounded and get connected to nature during all this craziness. We definitely know November is going to be a crazy month. Potentially December is going to be a crazy month, so just stay
Yeah,
grounded
just-
and
Yeah.
connect to nature is really needed.
And by the way, Ting, how cool! Wow, you've been taking between 4 to 10 elderly Chinese to the ballot boxes every day, and we'll have 2 events to take them in to polls on November 3rd. Did you organize this yourself? Because that is so impressive.
I love
Or
that
you were
team.
part of something. Yeah.
I think that's amazing. Yeah, good for you.
That's really, really, really impressive. And I'm wondering how many people you actually got a chance to take all together. That's very, very cool, actually. Oh, and out of curiosity, too, I don't know if you know, but if you would let us know, that would be great. I'm kind of curious, the people that you took to the polls, do you know how they're voting? Are they voting for...
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn. Hi.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's okay if you have to run out. We're just grateful that you were able to join us for however long.
This is going
Yeah.
to be our last live before the election.
Yes, we actually... It's actually funny because we wanted to go live on election day, and we
Yeah.
wanted to actually like watch the results with you guys, and we thought it'd be really, really fun.
Yeah.
But then we thought about it and we realized, you know what? Actually, not so much. I think we would rather go away for a few days and just rest, because it's been a really, really... I mean, I'm sure it's been hectic for everyone, you know.
Well, it's actually your mom's idea. She's
Yeah.
the one. She's like, we need to get away.
My
we
mom-
need a moment.
My mom literally insisted, and she didn't want to leave on the 4th. She wanted to leave on the 3rd. First thing in the morning, we're waking up, dropping off the ballot, and then immediately going. And we're so excited. We're gonna go to Southern Oregon, to around the Klamath Lake area, which is a beautiful area. And we just got a nice Airbnb where we'll be able to hang out and chill and play lots of cards and chess and Monopoly and do some reading. And,
Disconnect from the internet.
yes, disconnect from the internet a little bit. So yeah, betting polls are more trustworthy. That's very, very true. Are you talking about betting polls, David? Are you talking about the betting polls where people bet on the winner?
Hi, Kimberly. Oh,
Hi, Kimberly.
That's your area. You live
Klamath Falls?
in Southern Oregon, huh?
Oh, how cool!
We love it there.
How cool! I mean, we love Oregon in general. I think
Yeah.
we talked about it so many times. It's just such an amazing, beautiful, beautiful state. And Klamath Falls is just like a great area. Really beautiful. So, how cool, Ting, too. The fact that the 3 of you, I mean, you got 3 people together. And wow, that is really, really cool. What I like, too, is that you don't even care who they vote for. You just want to take them there to vote. Talk about activism. That's like as active as it gets. You're actually bringing people to the votes, to the voting places. That's amazing. That's really, really, really impressive.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, well, David, I don't know if you remember, but the betting odds in 2016 had Hillary Clinton with about the same as now. 65 to or 68% to 33% to Trump. I think right now it's 65 to 35. So and it's true, because the betting odds are usually much more reliant than polls on who's going to win, except in 2016. I'm really hoping that 2020 is also wrong. That's kind of the goal, because I'm really, really nervous about what's going to happen, and I'm really kind of curious to know if you guys have any predictions or anything. Do you guys have any idea of what's going to happen? Because it's kind of scary out there.
Oh, David, interesting. Somebody did a video on us. John.
Oh, John Stossel. Yeah, I love that guy. I think I'm not sure, but I think he also did a video about that like 4 years ago as well. So I'll look up this.
No, he said he did a video on. He did a video
John
on.
Stossel did a video.
Should check it out. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll have to check that out.
He, I think, did a video on this also in 2016. But I'll definitely check it out if he did one for this year. So.
Oh, and we have an ESC fan in our live today. Hi, ESC fan.
Hi, Lyrica. Hi. Oh my God, so exciting. Okay, we love ESC. For you guys, if you don't know, ESC stands for Eurovision.
Yeah.
We are obsessed. We love Eurovision so much. I literally wake up every day and first thing in the morning,
Yes.
I get in the shower, turn on my Eurovision songs. I love Eurovision. It gets me
Yeah.
going every day.
I have
So-
been listening to the Russian Eurovision song of 2019 this year, and I think
2020.
2020, excuse me. Still stuck in 2019, 2020, and
It broke all the records. All the records.
yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
If you guys don't know what Eurovision is, but it's the largest singing competition in the world. It was literally created after World War II, so that oh, thank you. Just turned on the AC, which is really nice.
You the AC on. It's actually a little warm. It's been going between hot and cold here.
Yeah. So yeah, Eurovision actually was created after World War II to bring European countries together in a singing competition. So it's kind of like the original
Hi,
American
Ed.
Idol. Hi, Ed. Hi. So glad you were able to join us. Hi. Oh, so good to see you guys.
So to let
So
you guys
exciting.
know, everybody who's here in the chat room, we have really exciting, really exciting announcement to make. I'm actually cannot wait to make the announcement, but we'll make the announcement in a couple of minutes. Wait until everybody gets on.
Yeah, this has actually been in the works for a few months now.
Yes.
And we weren't allowed to say anything, and finally
Yes.
we are. So
Yes.
it's really exciting. And yes, David, you're right. Eurovision is the Olympics of singing. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely love it. And it's kind of cool because apparently and they're bringing Eurovision to America. So now there's going to be
Yes.
an American version where basically you're going to have a representative from each state compete, and then at the end of it, you're going to have one winner.
Yeah.
And now Eurovision grew to the point where you have representatives from all over the Europe, Middle East. Israel competes and actually won in 2018. Israel is one of the biggest winners of Eurovision because it had four wins overall. And yeah, it's kind of cool because you have countries from the Middle East, from Northern Africa. Turkey was a part of Eurovision a couple of times. Even Lebanon was a part of Eurovision, but they withdrew because Israel is a part of it. And you have a lot of Asian countries as well. So like Georgia and Azerbaijan, Armenia also, and Australia joined a couple of years ago, and they have been amazing.
Amazing.
As well, so,
Australia has been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're starting to talk a little bit about Eurovision, but I have to say the thing that I love about Eurovision is that it's not supposed to be political. That everybody's supposed to come together as countries and talk. And
Hi,
and
Remy.
sing, which is amazing.
Yes.
Hi, Remy.
All right. So yeah. Okay. So.
Oh, Lynn, our doggies are doing well.
Thank you for
they're
asking.
actually, I can see them right now. They're sitting on the sofa enjoying the sun.
Basking in the sun.
In the sun, yes. We're getting a little bit of sun, so that's nice.
It's actually kind of sad because we don't know how our 14-year-old is going to be because we just adopted her about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But our 17-year-old really has a hard time every winter.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because I love the winter. I'm not a summer person. I don't like the heat. But he loves it. And so every winter we get really nervous. And since we just had a scare that you guys know about a couple of weeks ago, we're really nervous about this winter. So hopefully he'll do well. His joints hurt and he's having a lot of hard time during the winter. So we'll do our best to.
Oh, and we have another ESC fan too.
Ah, ESC
Hi,
Trisha. ESC is representing today. Oh my goodness.
I
love
it. I love
Yeah.
it. ESC lad actually asked us to continue doing the reaction series. We didn't think anybody would be interested in
It's been
continuing
so long
it.
and we
Yeah.
We love doing the reaction series on our Eurovision page, but we'll actually, I guess when we come back from our vacation after the election, we'll react to a lot of them. Yeah.
Well, the ESC lad asked us to react to several of them, so we'll definitely react to the ones that he asked us to.
And actually, if you guys, Trisha and Erica, if you guys have any songs that you want us to react to, let us know, because that would be fun. We'll definitely react to those in 2020.
Ariel, I think you have a little bit of a lipstick on your teeth. On this side, yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Ah.
Right here. Yeah, a little bit of lipstick on the teeth.
Do I still do it? Ooh. All right. Got it. Got it.
Today was definitely, I'm gonna be 100%
Be
honest.
100% honest.
Today was just not our day for makeup.
No.
I have no idea what was going wrong, but everything was going wrong with our makeup. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those days.
All right, Trisha, we will. Yeah. We will react to Freaky.
Freaky, okay.
All right, love it.
Definitely.
Yeah, today was a really hard day with makeup. I think our skin is just not doing well because of the changes in the
weather.
Yeah. And lots of allergies, and so it's just like everything is running down and coming up, but we pulled it together, so we'll take it. Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait any longer. We have to make your announcement.
Okay.
Very excited announcement, you guys. Very, very, very excited.
Before we'll even say it, I just want to give you guys a little bit of the background. So, everyone knows Zane's Walk Away video. I think most of the people came to us through the Walk Away video.
Yeah. Wait. Here, I want to stop you real quick. So I actually, a lot of people have been asking me to do a 2-year reaction video, a follow-up video, and I said I was going to come out with it this week. Unfortunately, as you guys know, we have problems uploading to YouTube. Those who suggested, we actually did do your guys' suggestion of using the Ethernet and the cable and blah, blah, blah. But
so much better, by the way. It still hasn't solved our technical issues, but at least it doesn't take us like 3 days to upload a video, which is really nice.
Definitely better.
So, yeah.
But it's actually still uploading now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that video will be coming out tomorrow. So if it is and it can't come out, it'll come out tomorrow at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I know we don't come out with anything on Saturday, but I thought within this case, before the election, to come out with a follow-up video for Walk Away. So there will actually be 2 videos. I did a short version for House of DMaaj, where I kind of talk about a couple of different topics, main points that you guys have asked me to talk about. And then over on my Zane channel, I did a full reaction video to it. I watched the full 20 minutes and then I stop it and then I talk about it. The video actually really ended up being a little bit longer than I expected. I think it ended up being like about...
It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, like about an hour and 40 minutes, which I know is really long. I don't expect everybody to watch it, but a lot of you guys asked me to talk about different things, and I was like, how should I do a 2-year follow-up video? And I thought, you know what, the best is just to watch it and then stop and each point talk about it.
And yeah, I mean, I watched it yesterday, and I thought it was really good. It's literally just watching and reacting, stopping, and then being like, oh, this is what I felt back then, and then this is how I've evolved from that position to this position now, and I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I feel really bad because so many people have asked me questions and so many comments, so many emails, so many Facebook messages, so many DMs on Instagram. It's just so many people have reached out, and I feel really bad that I haven't been able to respond to everybody. So I thought this would be the best way to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, sorry.
Okay, so, and I can't wait. Thank you so much for giving us the suggestions to react to the countries. Really, really, really appreciate it. Funny thing, by the way, Lyrica, I just want to throw that out, and then we're going to move on from Eurovision. That song, the 2014 Australian song, is literally my song that I listen to literally every single day. Yeah. I love that song. It gets me going, and it always puts me in a good mood. Yeah. So I can't wait to actually film that. It's going to be really, really fun. Okay, announcement?
Yes.
Are we ready?
Announcement.
Okay. Okay, so you guys, most people know us through Zane's Walk Away video.
Or Eurovision.
Or Eurovision, yes, because we did a lot of Eurovision videos, and then we realized that mixing them, politics and Eurovision in one channel doesn't really work because of the algorithm, and so we ended up doing a separate Eurovision channel just for Eurovision, and then this is just our fun channel. But yeah, it was really, really cool because Zane was actually contacted by a video game developer.
Yes.
And they had an amazing idea of doing a video game with drag queens, and basically the idea would be that you have this drag queen, and you have a almost like a zombie apocalypse, some kind of like a pandemic. Actually,
Yeah.
very, very, very. It really, really fits the narrative of what's happening now. But the idea is that there's some kind of a pandemic that basically, ruins people's minds, and everyone becomes zombies. And it's funny because it's not really supposed to be political, but in many ways it kind of is, in the sense that, I guess, in the sense that nowadays a lot of people have kind of become like mind zombies, political zombies. They just
Yeah.
follow the grain, follow what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
They're not really thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
And you're just you're getting this information through the mainstream media, and then you're
Yeah.
just kind of like a zombie, just regurgitating the same information, moving forward. And that's a real problem for a lot of for our country, I think, and a really big problem within especially the younger population. And so the idea of having kind of this badass drag queen who's killing all these zombies and saving the world is really, really cool, because I think it really matches what's happening now.
Yeah.
And so it was awesome because Zane was contacted
Yeah.
by this person who's extremely nice, and will actually send us an email with a little
Yeah.
a statement. So we'll read it. It's very exciting. And yeah, it's been months in the works. We had to get we had to do a photo shoot and get Zane a whole bunch of really cool clothes,
Yeah.
so that we could see what it would be like in the game.
It's really, really exciting. Thank you, Cher.
Share! Oh my goodness, thank you!
Things in store.
Want to
I like
2020
the
and
news.
all the
Very
great things in
exciting.
store. I like you news. Oh, thank you, Cher!
Thank you,
That's
Cher.
Yay, thank you. That's very sweet, thank you.
Really, really appreciate it. So we're going to post the official poster on Instagram after we go live. We will post the official poster there, so you guys can go on Instagram post it on the Zane Instagram, and also too on House of DMaaj Instagram, so you guys can check out the official artwork, which is I think it's amazing.
It's really cool.
I
It's really,
think
really
it's
cool.
really, really cool.
What's also really cool about this is the fact that this person that contacted us, his name is David Murdoch. I don't think there's any relation to the Murdoch family. I don't know. But I thought what's really cool is, there's a lot of drag queens who are actually well known, that are famous. And, there's really no game like this yet. And this game basically is supposed to be in development for a year. So it's going to take a year before it even comes
Yeah.
out. So,
This
is
this is the first official announcement of the video game, and it's still in development, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be out next year.
See you soon, Lynn.
Oh, thank you for joining,
Yeah.
Lynn.
So yeah, hopefully it'll be out next year. But I thought it was really cool because this person basically watched the walk away. From what we understand, they're not hugely leaning one way or another. They have their own political beliefs. Not necessarily conservative, but they like the independent thinking that Zane showed in the walk away video. And it inspired them to, do this game, and also to have Zane as the main character, which I think it's just incredible.
Yeah, I'm really, I'm really humbled by this experience. I just can't believe anybody would reach out to me and ask me to be in a video game. I mean, that's crazy to be in a video game. It's very, very exciting though.
It's also really cool because, again, we're nobodies.
Yeah.
We're literally like nobodies, right? So it's not like, it's not like we would be able to help with, getting this game to have like a tons of sales or anything. It's just this person literally did this out of their goodness of their own hearts, because they really liked what Zane had to offer. And it's just very cool because...
And I have to say this, I think for me, this is just a very crazy experience, because people who watched my walkaway video know that I was homeschooled my whole entire life. So grew up very, very, very conservative. I wasn't allowed to play video games when, growing up. So the fact that I wasn't allowed to play video games, especially anything, dealing with violence, we weren't able to even have, toy guns or anything resembling violence in the home. So to actually not only be able to play video games, but to be in a video game now is kind of a crazy experience.
It's a really cool experience, and it's actually kind of funny because Zane was not allowed to have video games, and I, when I was, I was never really huge into video games because I never really had them. I always wanted them, and I would play with them at my friend's house, but I didn't have any video games because we were too poor, really, to buy them and buy consoles and, everything that comes with it. So to now have, my partner actually be in one is
it's just wild.
Really self-gratifying.
It's a really wild
It's a wild experience. So, okay, I'm gonna read the statement.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just because I think it's kind of really, really cool, and I just don't have it memorized, so I figured I would read it, and I think that would be kind of cool. Okay. So the name of the game is Drag the Dead, which I think is a really smart name, and it's gonna be really fun. Drag the Dead,
The Dead,
double
yes.
entendre, if you will. So Drag the Dead is an upcoming third-person zombie shooter concocted up by the artist and creator David Murdoch, which you can find him at David Murdoch Art. This is a simple game focused on delivering fast-paced, satisfying badassery in an explosive, over-the-top, colorful, and louder-than-life world laced with humor and promises never to take itself too seriously. David will be tackling the development of this title with his trusted and faithful subordinate, Nathan Shanekoff. And David and Nathan have been working together for several years now on the development of ITZY Interactive's two-stick shooter, Mad Devils, and the adaptation of David's graphic novel, Lucas. It also gets better. David is collaborating with the supremely talented and wickedly risque William D. Pristauk on the story driving Drag the Dead to bring you a sharp-witted, provocative, and potentially Nobel-winning work of zombie-slaying fiction. This is
So
a real
crazy.
honor to have him on board. It gets better. David has enlisted the likeness and talents of the fabulous, delicious, remarkable, alluring, and glowing Zane DMaaj. This is like a press release that they're talking about Zane. I mean, like, how cool is this? How cool.
It's so exciting.
To star as the hero in this grisly saga. Now, Zane is a sweetheart. Very true. A caring, thoughtful, and empathetic person who wants to see all of us treat each other with the basic respect and dignity that every person deserves.
Yes.
I love this about Zane, but Zane has also demonstrated bravery that many of us do not. And she has my highest respect for that. And it's with that bravery in mind that I was compelled to reach out and invite her to be a part of Drag the Dead. How cool, right? Like, this person saw her walk away and he's just like, wow, this is really brave for someone of our community to come out and speak so openly about walking away from, the Democratic plantation, because everyone knows that if you are a drag queen and you come out against the Democratic Party, if you come out in support of Trump, you're blacklisted. That's it. You're never working again in this industry, ever. So for us, we know there's just no way that we would be able to get any work at any club with what's going on. And as a matter of fact, we even we're supposed to have a really cool event in Utah
Last year in
last
September.
year to bring up to talk about all of the issues and everything that's happening, and really just it was supposed to be an event for LGBT where everyone was a part of it.
It wasn't just
liberals and conservatives.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Antifa got a hold of the planned event.
Yeah.
They protested. They bullied the owners of the place where the event was supposed to be held, and it got canceled the day before, I think it was. So it was extremely sad, very, very sad.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's a reality.
It's a reality that we just have to deal with, and it happens, but it really sucks. So I just thought it was really, really cool. As kind-hearted as she is, there's a lioness in there, and here we are. Drag the Dead is the story of our hero Zane waking to find herself in the midst of a seeming zombie apocalypse with no choice but to battle her way out, but ultimately finds herself coming face to face with the source of this catastrophic mind virus. Below the surface, the game is a commentary on hive-minded tribalism. Right? I mean, it's great. Extremism and the general sentiment by a loud minority that viewing groups of individuals and boxing them into collectivist monoliths is somehow okay. It's a commentary on censorship, outrage mobs, and demanding homogeneity. With that being said, don't expect anything too on the nose, because at the end of the day, what we want is something fun, funny, exhilarating, and a bloody good time for all. I'll do my best to try and keep everyone up to date on the development progress. Okay, I think this is basically it. So this is happening, and it's just really, really cool.
It's very, very exciting. So,
and it's also really cool that we're able to announce it like the day before Halloween. That's really exciting too.
Yes, I think it's very appropriate. Zombies, Halloween. I think that is just, it's perfect.
So, in celebration of this monumentous occasion, we decided that we are going to pop open a bottle of champagne with you guys and celebrate. And in honor of the way DMaaj does things, we decided to get one very large champagne glass.
So large.
And we're gonna share it. So if you guys have your drinks, grab them. Let's have some drinks together. I think it would be really, really fun.
I think somebody said they have their smoothies, so
Ooh, what kind
get
of
out your
smoothie?
smoothie.
Yes. What kind of smoothie is it?
Ed's getting his drink.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
This guy's gonna spill.
I know, me too. It's okay. I love that you guys think it's iconic. I mean, this is just so cool. You know, again, like for us, we never
Sure,
expected
tequila.
this.
Ooh.
Ooh. All right. Let's do this. Yes, pick up the bottle. And we're gonna pour some champagne. Can you tilt the glass for me, please? Thank you.
There we go.
I really hope you guys are having fun and having some cool snackies with us.
If you guys brought any snacks or drinks, I would love to know what you guys have. Well, okay. Whoa! Is that the whole bottle?
Oh my goodness, the whole bottle. How fun.
Wow.
Well, I guess we didn't even need this cooler. I got it because I thought we would keep the champagne in there, but it all fit. So let's all have a toast to Zane.
Yes, and David and Nathan and Bill and everybody else who is a part of the game. If you guys are watching right now, and if you guys are a part of our live, I also.
I love it because Susan is enjoying a turkey sandwich and a little glass of wine.
There
Nice.
we go.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Oh. That hits the spot.
So that is very exciting news. We have been sitting on this exciting news for months now. So when we were told that we can officially announce it,
And we couldn't wait. Yeah.
we just couldn't wait. We were so excited.
Yes. And whiskey works, Johnny. Any drink works. Okay, so that was really fun. That was really exciting. I can't wait for the game to actually come out and share it with you guys. I think it'll be really, really fun.
And we will be posting the official poster on Instagram, so you guys can see the visuals of what that's going to look like. So we'll post that after our live. After we go live, that will be on our Instagram.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Who's excited to vote if you haven't already voted? Because we are beyond excited. We've already talked about it. There are quite a few things that we're really, really worried about and really, really scared. I'm really curious to know what your guys' predictions are for the election. because I mean, you guys all know what everyone knows who we're voting for. We're very open about it.
Yeah.
We love Trump. We're very supportive of him. We think he did incredible things in his 4 years in office, and we really hope he gets 4 more years to continue the incredible work that he's done so far. So that's that's our goal. But looking back into everything, I think one of the things that is really scaring me right now is seeing what's happening around the country and in the polls. And a lot of people say, well, the polls were wrong in 2016, and it's true. The polls really were wrong in 2016, but there's a bit of a difference. And the difference is that the polls were not wrong in terms of the popular vote. We all know that, right? I think the polls showed Hillary Clinton winning by, something like 3 points. She ended up winning by a little over 2 points. But in terms of the popular vote, the polls are right. And the thing that's scary to me right now is that the polls are showing Biden up by 7.8%, almost 10%, which is really scary because, again, even if he loses half of that, he would still be higher than what Hillary Clinton was. And that's the popular vote. That's not in the battleground states. Now, the battleground states...
I'm interrupting you, Ariel. I think you still have a little bit of lipstick.
Lipstick on my teeth?
Yeah, I think it's...
I do.
Not the day for makeup.
This is not the most professional, let me say.
Every girl knows the struggles with lipstick on the teeth.
Yes. Every girl and every drag queen.
And every drag queen.
Like I said, it was just one of those days where everything was just, falling apart, and we just had to do the best that we can, and we did.
I hope for the best.
Honestly, you guys, I can't wait. I mean, I love doing this, and it's really fun to get in drag and do this and do different looks. But I can't wait for the day where we're going to be able to, be outside of drag with you guys.
Yeah.
That's something I'm really looking forward to. Is I really want to get to a point where we're going to be able to be outside of drag and just, because then we'll be able to film much more often. We won't have to get into drag. We'd be able to go live whenever something actually fun happens. That would be really fun and really cool. So that is kind of my goal.
Ed, you're predicting the left riot, looting, and setting things on fire after the election. I think that's one of the biggest concerns that I have after the election. I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth. I think people are going to say that Trump won. I think people are going to say that Biden won. I think it's just going to go back and forth. I think, new information is going to consistently come out, and I think it's going to get a lot of people angry and upset. And I would just really highly suggest everybody to just, take everything with a grain of salt and just hold on.
Yeah. I'm really curious to know what Susan Varela has to say, because Susan, you're from Michigan. So I am, please tell us, where are you from in Michigan, and how do you see the streets out there? Are you seeing a lot of Biden signs? Are you seeing a lot of Trump signs? There's a lot of polls that show Biden up by, in some cases, double digits in Michigan. I will say this, the Trafalgar poll actually shows Trump up in Michigan. So I really don't know. Either way, it's definitely going to be more than 10,000 votes. I think this time, no matter what, more than 10,000 votes, for one or the other, either Biden or Trump. But it's not going to be as close this time in Michigan. And so I'm really curious. Yes, Ed, exactly. Really curious to know what you're observing. And I love it. Johnny says Trump landed in Minnesota for another peaceful protest. Kalamazoo. Wow. That's very interesting. Actually, my sister used to live in Kalamazoo, so that's really cool.
What a small world.
Yeah, what a small world. So, yeah, I'm really curious. I don't know. The thing is, a lot of people are talking about Pennsylvania and Michigan. And Florida obviously is really important.
Texas.
Texas
is another one that everybody's talking about.
Which, to be fair, I don't think Texas is going to go blue this election cycle, but I definitely see Texas going blue in the next couple of election cycles.
Yeah, it's everybody from California moving to Texas.
Yeah, it's Californians. It's really sad. And, it's really crazy because a lot of Californians are leaving California because it's so bad here. but then they're, going to Texas and bringing in their terrible political ideology with them. So I don't get it. It's like all these like socialists who are escaping, socialism coming here and then, voting for Bernie Sanders. It's just like, it makes no sense. But I could definitely see Texas going blue in the next few years. The thing that worries me specifically about this election cycle, though, to be honest, is Arizona. And I think Arizona has a real...
Bye, ESC, Trisha. Thank you for joining us today.
Bye, ESC. Thank you so much for joining us. It was really fun. And let us know if there's any other songs you want us to react to. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Leave your left-leaning ways back in California or Oregon or Washington or really wherever wherever you're coming from.
Yeah, because Ed, where I know you're in Texas. I think you're in Austin.
Austin,
Texas.
Right? I think Austin,
I believe.
Yeah. So
and it seems like that's where all of the Californians all the Californians want to move is to Austin,
which is actually one of the most liberal places and actually very gay friendly, but also one of the most liberal places in the country. So it must be really interesting for you living, in such a liberal city.
Yeah.
Because for us living in liberal cities like Portland and San Francisco and liberal states, it's a very interesting experience. But I'm genuinely nervous about Arizona. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really nervous because I feel like even if Trump wins Pennsylvania and Michigan, he still, if he loses Arizona, he might still lose the presidency. And it's really, really, really close. And I think what's really scary is that Kelly is actually doing better than McSally in Arizona and, consistently for so long. And it's really sad because we're now, we saw it in the last election and we're now seeing it in this election. Mm-hmm. It looks like Arizona, whether or not it's going to vote for Trump this time, the state itself is turning blue little by little. I mean, they're having one one Democratic senator after another. I think that says a lot, and that really does scare me in that sense.
Yeah.
So.
Bye, ESC.
Bye, Lyrica. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the nice words, too. We really, really appreciate it. So, yeah, we know. Listen, it's Friday. It's the week before the election. Everyone is busy.
And the day before Halloween.
And the day before Halloween. Yeah, so if you guys have any fun Halloween plans, let us know. We do. We're actually going to a party for Halloween. Very, very small, responsible party by my sister, so it's all going to be family, but we decided we're going to dress up and still have a good time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of hoping you guys will get to enjoy your Halloween as well.
Yeah, and if our looks turn out, maybe we'll post them.
Yeah, if they turn out.
If they turn out. Only if they turn out.
A little different, yeah. Horror movies. Yes, yes, yes. Susan, I'm really curious to know, because you're saying that, your family is there and they're Trump supporters. We know quite a few people there that are Trump supporters, but we also know the state is turning. So I'm kind of curious what your relatives have to say, in Arizona and how they're feeling about it. Because some people that we spoke to in Pennsylvania are saying the polls are wrong. Because if you look at the signs out there, the signs in people's backyards, car stickers, if you look at that, then you could tell that the momentum is on Trump's side. The other thing that I find absolutely fascinating, I read this really cool article about a bakery in Pennsylvania, and basically every election for the past 30 years, they have had, they would do 2 cookies for the presidential nominees.
Oh, yes, I love this story.
And it was really, really cool because last year they did, they had, Trump, last election they had Trump and Hillary cookies. And the Trump cookies way oversold Hillary. And again, Trump won. And it's really interesting because this year, basically, I think the Trump cookies are selling 6-1 over Biden in Pennsylvania. Now, again, this is not a scientific thing whatsoever.
Hi, Justin. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Justin. Happy Halloween. Yeah, so we don't know, I don't even remember what city they're in, this bakery. But, it is kind of cool because the last 30 years, they've been able to predict the election outcome.
Isn't that crazy, being able to predict the election results off of cookies?
Based on the cookies that you sell.
I mean, that's just
Incredible.
Yeah, I think that's really fun.
And it's really cool too because this year, because of Chibi, they're not able to be as busy, but the cookies apparently have been flying off the shelves and have been keeping this business afloat to the point where they actually have to put limits to how many cookies each person can buy. So I'm really hoping that they're going to be right this year.
They've been in business for 30 years, been predicting
30 plus years, yeah.
30 plus years. They've been predicting the results of each election for 30 years. And then this year, having Trump, cookies selling 6 times the amount of Biden cookies.
Which in 2016, they sold, it was 2-1, Hillary to Trump to Hillary. So, twice as many cookies were sold for Trump. So this year, 6-1, again, we don't know what that means, but, hopefully they're correct. Yeah. And I really wish I saved the article so that I could link it, because that would be really, really cool. Yeah. They also ship all around the U.S.
Do you remember where was it?
I don't remember, but I'll find it. I'll try to find it, and if I find it,
we'll put it in the comment section of this video.
Perfect.
Yeah. Afterwards.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's really, really close. And as a lot of people saying, it's either going to be a really close election. Or Biden is just gonna it's gonna be a blowout for Biden. I'm hoping it's gonna be a close election in Trump's favor, but I could also see a situation where one seems like he's winning on election day, and then a week later things turn around, and then things turn around again.
Voter fraud comes out, and then that changes it, and you find out this information, and then that changes it. I think it's gonna be very interesting.
It's going to be very, very, very interesting.
Historic, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the most historic so far.
Yeah. Speaking, by the way, of Pennsylvania cookies, I don't know if you guys heard, this was kind of, right now there's these crazy protests and rioting. And again, my take on this is that whenever there's protests and rioting, it will automatically help Trump. And I think that's part of the reason why he won, part of the blue wall in the last election. And so now there's all these protests and riots in Pennsylvania because of the black person that was killed by an officer, which, again, by the way, this person was like running at them with a knife. The officer killed him. Now it's all over the news. Again, they're politicizing this. But it's really interesting because a group of Jewish men, I guess, came out in solidarity to stand with Black Lives Matter, and they were harassed and kicked out and called derogatory names. And it just again tells you, these groups, Antifa, BLM, they are fascist groups, and it's just really interesting
and
because
anti-Semitic as well.
Incredibly anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
And they're calling these groups, Biden called it an idea. And it's just outrageous because, again, if you live in Portland, one thing is that Antifa is not an idea. It's a very much active, organization that's very hard to pin down because they work very much like an armed guerrilla, like a terrorist armed militia or guerrilla, in the sense that, you don't have necessarily one leader, that controls everything, because that's how most terrorist guerrillas work until they become really, really big, like Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, Hamas, then you have these leaders. But at the beginning, it's, militia and trying to avoid authorities by not having one person that the authorities can pinpoint. But again, you go to their Facebook page, which I've done to see, and it's like, they advertise training camps, they advertise so many things. They advertise people's personal information, they advertise people's addresses, and they really implore their supporters and people that are part of these organizations to go and attack these people at their place of work, place of worship, at their homes. So the idea that this is somehow an idea really petrifies me, because if this is, if Biden wins and we really treat Antifa and BLM like an idea, and it already seems like BLM, it's almost like there's already a consensus, that if you're not a Black Lives Matter person, that's it, you're racist.
Yeah.
And I think that really scares me, because Black Lives Matter is racist. The actual group itself is racist. It's anarchists. It's Marxist. And they're against, the idea of traditional parent homes. And what I mean by traditional parent homes, I don't mean a mom and a dad. I just mean in general, just a set of parents, they're even against that because they believe that, children should be raised by, this great village. It's this, Hillary Clinton idea from the 90s of, it takes a village. And so in order to achieve that, they're literally systematically destroying the idea and the values of what a family life means. And it's very, very sad because, a lot of people talk about systemic racism, but when you're looking at, 73% of black homes being, fatherless black homes, single mothers, and then you're looking at how far Black America is compared to other races, compared to whites, compared to Hispanics, compared to Jews, compared to Asians, compared to American Indians, compared to even Native Americans. Blacks are so far behind economically, educationally, health-wise, and a lot of people attribute this to systemic racism, and I actually attribute it to democratic policies, which I guess you could call it systemic racism as well, because that's what these policies have created, right?
Yeah.
The three strikes law is part of it. That's a very systemic racist policy that was passed by and actually authored by Biden. So, in that sense, if you want to talk about systemic racism, the people who are responsible for it are Democrats. And the people who are actually fixing it are Republicans, with Trump at the front. So, this is something that's really, really important and really going to affect the future of our country, and really scares me. Like, genuinely, really, really scares me, because I don't know where we're headed. So, yeah. And I really like, Ed, you're saying you believe that there's thousands of silent Trump supporters. I really hope so. Obviously there was, millions of Trump supporters who were silent before. I don't know if they're silent now, right? Because I think people were so encouraged by Trump, the first few years, but I can definitely see a sizable portion still being silent just because of fear of retaliation from coworkers, from friends. Like I said, we're openly conservative. We're proud of it. I'm a conservative and proud of it, and I have a lot of liberal friends. Now, a lot of my liberal friends are just as good friends to me now as they were, years ago. But I have quite a few friends who, no longer talk to me as a result of my support for Trump, right? Because now I'm a racist and I hate Jews, even though I'm a Jew and born in Israel.
Yeah. I think the concern that I have is the older people. A lot of older people voted for Trump.
Sorry, I just Amber Raven just said Rudy Giuliani has a YouTube channel where he goes over everything that was found on Hunter Biden's laptop. Just an FYI.
Oh,
that is a huge FYI. So thank you.
Definitely
thank you, and we will check this out because I did not know this. So I'm really excited about this. And it's. The thing is, Amber is saying that's because the media has been brainwashing them for... Yes, the media has been brainwashing people for so many years. And what's scary is that they're continuing to brainwash even now, right? I mean, the idea that CNN hasn't talked about Hunter Biden's laptop. And the thing is, this is what really scares me.
Hi, Miriam.
Hi, Miriam. Hi. So glad you were able to join us. So this is what really scares me, because in 2016, at least we still had this idea of, of impartiality. At least people try to pretend. We also at least had a pretend of journalistic integrity, right? When Hillary Clinton's emails came out. Hi, Hannah. It is very scary, yes. And, when the Hillary Clinton email scandal came out, at least the outlets still covered it. Now they're refusing to even cover it. And what scares me the most is they're saying, oh, this is propaganda, Russian propaganda, Russian propaganda. That's exactly what they said in 2016. Russian propaganda. Whether or not Russia released these emails is irrelevant to whether or not they're real. Because they ended up being real. Everything ended up being true.
Yeah.
So, and the same thing is happening here. You know, those emails, the laptop that has been found about Hunter Biden, that's already been corroborated. Corroborated by the store owner, corroborated by Hunter Biden's ex-business associate, who actually said that he's personally talked to Biden. They've had multiple, you know, Biden is very much in cahoots with all of the Hunter Biden's business deals. And think about it this way. Hunter Biden worked for a Ukrainian company. He worked for, you know, he received money from a Russian, from the Moscow mayor's wife. You know, we know millions of dollars.
Yeah.
He's worked for Chinese businesses. Here's the thing. He doesn't speak Chinese. He doesn't speak Ukrainian. He doesn't speak Russian. Has zero experience in energy. Zero experience really with anything. He's an ex-druggie, basically. And, you know, nothing against ex-druggies, because ultimately they reformed, you know, they came out of it on the other side. That's something to really hold in a high esteem. But I wouldn't put, you know, any ex-druggie, you know, in charge of, you know, major corporations, major companies, when they have zero experience. Literally, he had zero experience in energy. Zero. Like, zero. He doesn't speak Russian. He doesn't speak Ukrainian. What is he doing working for Burisma? Like, how did that happen, right? How did he get this job?
Yeah.
And now, what we found out is that Hunter Biden has actually been investigated by the FBI since 2019, and it's still an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
Which, again, that just really scares me, right? Yeah, okay, so the Justice Department officials confirmed that the FBI opened a criminal investigation to Hunter Biden and his associates back in 2019, focusing on allegations of money laundering, and the probe still remains active. So to this day, and what I'm curious about is, why don't we know about this, right? If the FBI already confirmed about this, why aren't the media outlets talking about this, and why haven't they talked about this before? And I think we know why, because whereas before, the media outlets at least pretended to be impartial because they really thought that a Hillary Clinton win was assured. So, you know, they wanted to at least keep their impartiality going in terms of, you know, having their, you know, for people to trust them, I guess, right?
Yeah.
To upkeep their reputation. But what we're finding out now is, you know, now they're so scarred from what happened in 2016, they don't want to take the chances, so they don't even want to talk about it. And what's scary is that unless you're listening to Fox News or really, you know, deep diving, you know, into the internet and finding this information, you're not going to know about this. And so a lot of people genuinely think this whole, you know, email scandal, the whole thing with Hunter Biden is, you know, a concocted story that's just, you know, BS invented by Russia and Trump. And it's,
or they're excusing it away and going, well, Hunter's not the one who's running for president. It's Joe Biden's the one who's running for president.
right, but
So
but we know that Joe is the one that actually set up this, you know, these jobs for him, right? He wouldn't have these jobs if it wasn't for him. And we know that he got the money, and even their ex-business associate is actually bringing proof and showing. And what I found out is that apparently he had 3 phones that he offered to the FBI. 3 different phones that he offered to the FBI with proof of text messages and emails and images and recordings and everything else that they all have, and the FBI refused to take them. The FBI did not want to take the laptop as well until, you know, there was quite a bit of pushback from conservatives, and finally the FBI actually agreed to take the laptop and look over it. So, you know, I'm just seeing...
it's just crazy.
It's just crazy, right? Because it's
really
kind of like they let Hillary Clinton off the hook in 2016, and it looks like now we're on par to let Hunter Biden off the hook as well, including Biden. And obviously, if Biden wins, then it's all over, you know, anyways. And this is just going to go hush-hush and go nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's just absolutely crazy. The fact that the FBI is refusing to take this evidence. They just don't want it.
Yeah. So there you go, your first page of the day.
First page of the day. And I think that calls for a celebration of a little bit of
Champagne. And if you guys are just joining us now and don't know why we're drinking champagne, you'll find out if you go over to Instagram after the live.
Yes, we are celebrating. We should just say it, yeah? We are celebrating because Zane is going to be the main character of a video game, which is just crazy exciting. Right?
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Mm. Love, 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 love it. So good.
Such a massive glass.
Drag the such a massive glass. It did not look like it would hold an entire bottle of champagne, but I guess it does.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, thank you, Ed. Thank you for constantly being there and supporting us. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, Ed,
You
you've
know,
been like following us since the beginning.
Since the very beginning. And,
Yeah.
you know, there's a few people who are just really incredible, you know, and I don't want to start naming everyone's names because I'm
Yeah.
scared I'm going to leave someone out, you know, Lynn and Cher and Ting and Justin and Ed and
Yeah.
just so many, but it's just, it's really cool because, like I said, I can't wait to be able to do this outside of drag.
Yeah.
And not because I don't like drag or anything. I feel like we're becoming friends. You know, we know each other already to some extent, and I think it would
And
just be...
Ed, we're really looking forward to the Zoom. So that
Yes,
is definitely still
really,
happening.
really, really looking forward to the Zoom. So it would just be really cool to kind of be able to do this and, you know, and just show another layer of who we are. A lot of people are really surprised when they see us out of drag.
Hi, Jenny. Yeah, nobody recognizes us.
Hi, Jenny.
Princess.
I love it. Champagne does not need an excuse. No, it doesn't. Yes. And Joni, I love it. True, true, true. Okay, so,
Johnny.
oh, Johnny. Sorry, Johnny. Yes. You suggest Brandon Tatum to a lot of your Michigan friends. Good.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really curious to see, again, what's going to happen in Michigan. Because I think if Michigan turns red this year, that's going to be a game changer. It was a game changer last time in the sense that, you know, it would be interesting to see if it's a fluke. But if Trump is able to hold on to any of the previous blue wall, whether it's Pennsylvania, whether it's Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, that would be a game changer, even if he loses, because we're seeing the electoral college map completely shift. You know, completely. It used to be that Ohio was very much a battleground state, you know, and it's becoming more conservative. It used to be that Iowa was more Democratic leaning. It's now more Republican leaning. Nevada used to be very Republican. Arizona used to be very Republican. They're now, you know, Nevada is now Democrat leaning. Arizona is becoming more Democratic. So, you know, the map is changing. And, you know, for a lot of people who are very upset about the Electoral College and the way that it works, I want to do a full podcast about this once we release our LGBT and the Trump administration podcast. We'll, you know, finish that series with minorities, and then we'll do one about the Electoral College, because I think what people don't understand that is so unique and impressive and just very, very special about the American...
Hi, John.
Hi, John. Hi. You know, the thing that's really special about the American system is that it's not, you know, we don't have a quote unquote, you know, representative democracy in the sense that, you know, every vote gets we have something a little different. It's a polity. And what makes this different is that when you have a, you know, true democracy, as in, you know, the majority rule, then you run the risk of having mob rule, and you run the risk of really disenfranchising a lot of minorities. And our forefathers were really smart in the sense that they were able to foresee this happening before, and so they wanted to create a system where, you know, the majority will most likely get its way, but a system where a majority is not going to be able to take advantage and disenfranchise the minority. And what's happening is, as we're moving, you know, more and more, as we're becoming more evolved and more global, and the idea of minorities is really changing, right? Because it's really interesting. You know, you have some states where Hispanics are actually the majority, yet they're still considered a minority. So, you know, but they're not minorities in those states anymore. So as the idea of minorities changes, you know, we're seeing now something completely different. And the idea of minority is something that is more, you know, rural folks, people who live in rural areas are now becoming the minority. And, you know, people who are living in the coasts and in big metropolitan cities can say, well, whatever, that's their problem. You know, they're rural. But what they're not realizing is that America runs off the work that people are doing in those rural communities. That's why it's so important. that they have an equal voice. That's why it's so important that they have a representative voice, and that's why the Electoral College really works, because America is literally running based on what's happening in Iowa, even though Iowa is a really, really small state. But if it wasn't for Iowa, Americans in California and Oregon would not be able to eat. And California is a great farmers community, a great agricultural community. A lot of the American agricultural comes from California. But again, the interesting thing is a lot of those Californians are also conservative, and they're the minority within their own states.
I just want to make sure that everybody can still see us. Our screen went dark, so just give us a thumbs up that you guys can still hear us and see us. I think so. It's just our on our end. We've been having internet issues lately because it's really windy.
Thank you, Ed.
Good.
Thank you, Johnny.
We can still. Okay. Good. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
So interesting. So Susan, you said your fiance lives in Iowa and he's a very strong Trump supporter. I'm curious what he's thinking is going to happen in Iowa, and where does he live in Iowa? Because the polls are showing a slight advantage to Trump. But again, who knows, right? It's going to be really, really interesting to see. And it's just interesting because Iowa was such a battleground state with so little electoral college votes, but it was such a battleground state. And last time Trump won it handily. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he does this time. I'm really, really curious to see. Interesting, Northern Iowa. Does he feel one way or another?
Try something.
Does he feel like someone is going to win one way or another? I'm really, really curious.
I don't know why it's dark.
It's still dark. I don't know. Our phone screen is dark, but it's okay. As long as you guys can see us, that's what counts. So yeah, and I have friends who live in Ohio. They can't stand Trump. They really, really strongly dislike him.
Yeah.
But I think it's still gonna end up probably going towards Trump in the election. So I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with Arizona, because honestly, a lot of people are talking about Pennsylvania and Michigan and Florida, but what I'm really worried about is if Trump loses Arizona, I think it's going to be game over.
Really?
Even if he wins Florida, even if he wins Michigan, even if he wins Pennsylvania, if he loses Arizona, it's going to be game over, because if he loses Arizona, he's most likely going to lose Wisconsin and Minnesota, and that would be it. So I don't know. I've been playing with the map many, many times, trying to figure out, all his different paths to victory. And the one thing that I came across is it all comes down to Arizona, which is not, this is not at all what the experts are saying. So I might be wrong, but who knows? We'll definitely have to see. John, I'm going to read your comment because it looks really interesting. Being 100% honest right now, I'm pretty prejudiced against LGBT people despite me being somewhat part of it. Interesting. I think this is because my past experience with gay people who have pushed themselves onto me. That's a really interesting point. I don't know.
And then he follows it up.
Oh, you follow it up. Okay, good. Thank you. That I don't like back. How can I overcome my prejudices? Oh, wow. Okay, cool question. You know what? Here's the thing. I will say this. I mean, this could happen. I've had girls who push themselves onto me that I did not like, and not because I'm gay, just because I happen to, not be into them. And, that happens obviously with men. I think men are just more aggressive, specifically gay men, because of the gay culture. So, if you're a part of the LGBT community, I'm kind of curious, what part of it, are you bi? Are you gay? Are you already out? Because that will obviously have make a difference as well. But you have to realize that I think in the gay culture in general, people are very aggressive. When they want something and they want someone, people are very aggressive. But that's not a representation of an entire group of people. And if that is something that really, really bothers you, I think one of the best way to overcome prejudices is, again, and I think we've said this before, surround yourself with the people people who are part of the community that you would like to see,
Yeah.
right? That you would like to be around, because that will change your perspective of the community.
Oh, definitely.
I remember, when I was younger, I really struggled being a part of the gay community because I've always been conservative.
Yeah.
And I've also, I'm bi, and so I really had a hard time with the community because I wasn't fully accepted. But what I found was that if I'm able to find, people who I really connect with on a mental level, that has nothing to do with sexual and it's nothing to do with, a connection for a romantic connection. If I was able to be around them, they really changed my perspective and shifted my focus. And so if you don't have anyone like that within your community, I'd recommend, if you find us inspirational and, if we're the kind of members of the LGBT community that you want to be a part of and you're okay with, then, spend a lot of time with us.
Yeah.
And try to find more like us online.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll change your mind a lot.
Yeah, it really depends on where you live. I grew up in Southern California. You grew up in Northern California. So we both have our own, not just Northern California, but the Bay Area.
The Bay Area,
San
yeah.
Francisco. Me being in Southern California, I was in Riverside County. So those are completely two different experiences. We're going to be completely around two different LGBT communities. So I really, really, really like what Ed wrote up here. There are good people and there are bad people.
Schmucks.
Find the good ones and
there you go.
And run away from the bad ones.
Yeah.
That's it doesn't really matter what community you're in. There's always going to be good people and bad people. It really doesn't matter what the community is, and you just find the people you click with.
I think one of my favorite ones too is Susan Varela said, "My oldest got the sex change at age 18. She asked me if I could accept her as a girl, and I love my daughter, and what gender didn't concern me as long as she's happy." And that is really, really beautiful. I actually
like
think
that,
it's really cool actually because this is the community that we are talking about in terms of having a community. This is what makes it so cool. We're asked this, someone asked this question, and everyone is coming around and really giving really good, well thought out answers. That are really going to help this individual, hopefully, in the future.
Yeah.
I think that really makes a difference. I really, really do. I think that makes a difference, for everyone, because obviously we have our perspective, but that's not the only perspective. And look, we have a lot of people with different life experiences that are able to give really great advice. So I love this. If we're ever in need of advice, we're going to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Really, this is our go-to place now.
Yes. I love this.
But I would really, really encourage you to just surround yourself around with people that you want to see. And if you don't have anyone physically next to you that you can surround yourself, then find them online. Because the LGBT community is extremely versatile. We read that 45% of gay men are actual Trump supporters.
Yeah, 45%.
Think about it. That's a huge, huge number. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. Obviously, the majority of the LGBT community is very much against Trump. And I think when you count in the lesbians and the trans and everything, it's probably going to be close to like a 70-30, 65-35, for Democrats versus Republicans.
Yeah.
But again, it's really changing. And I think the LGBT community in general is evolving as well, and it's changing. It's definitely different now than it was when I was younger and a teenager.
Definitely.
And so, that's something that's really exciting and worth looking at.
Yeah, I started the very, very first LGBTQ and a alliance organization at my college. The very first one. There wasn't one before that, and it's funny because it was a community of everyone. It wasn't just gay people, lesbian. It was everybody who the alliance as well. So for it to change over time is just.
It's incredible. It's really cool. Yeah. It's evolving. It's really, really, really evolving. And again, we're finding...
And sometimes it's evolving for the better, and sometimes it's de-evolving, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
not always in the right direction.
When I first started the community, it was all about acceptance and getting along, and now it's more about divide. So it's
Oh yeah.
very interesting.
Well, I think the divide too, it's universal. It's not just for the LGBT community.
Yes, true.
Yeah. I love it. Wow. I was raised in Barnsley, South Yorkshire, England, and I still live here. I got into your channel with the Eurovision reviews. Oh, how cool! From an outsider, I'm enjoying your opinions on the US election. Oh, thank you, Lee. Wow. Actually, that really means a lot, and especially knowing that you found us through a Eurovision because you know, when we did Eurovision, we actually got a lot of subscribers, and then once they found out what our political beliefs are and you know what we're about, they ran as fast as they could away from us. And so we were really curious to know if there's anyone
Well, they went
from Eurovision
from loving us to hating us.
to hating us. Oh yeah, we got a lot of messages of, you know, first I thought you guys were cool, but then I watched your other videos and oh my god, you know, what I found out was scary. So it's kind of, that comment really hits home a lot. So thank you, Lee, because that really, it's really heartwarming to know that it's very inclusive out there, and it's very diverse as well, and so it's kind of cool.
And you know, you may agree with their political beliefs or may completely disagree with them, but the fact that you're just listening and tuning in and you know, hearing, you know, maybe a different opinion, it's great. I mean, you know, open minds. I mean, that's amazing.
Absolutely. So I don't know, it's gonna be really interesting to see, you know, and it's kind of interesting too because I feel like when it comes to, you know, since we're on the gay topic or LGBT topic, when it comes to LGBT rights, a lot of people are talking about, you know, how Trump has been anti-LGBT. And again, this could not be further from the truth. We'll talk about all of this in our podcast. I really wish we could have come out earlier because we actually had someone asked us to do a podcast about this months ago. It just, you know how things go. It was really difficult to get it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of things are very time consuming.
Very, very time consuming, you know, especially for us because we're both really perfectionists. And then the other thing is, you know, I retain a lot of information, but if I read something and then I talk about it, you know, from memory, I go back and just double check to make sure that I'm actually
saying all the correct.
That I'm giving correct statistics or correct information. You know,
we never want to give out any false information or like, I think it could be, but not sure. You know, we want to make sure that we absolutely know 100%.
Yeah, and that research is very time consuming.
Yes.
Really, really time consuming.
Yeah.
But so, you know, it's kind of really cool. But I think that Trump has done so much for our community, like so incredibly much. And I think, again, just like with the Black community, just like with the Hispanic community, just like for women and Jews in general, the difference between rhetoric and actually, you know, things that Trump has done on the ground to help people is very, very stark. Very, very stark. Because what people are saying, you know, and what, for example, you look at the Biden-Obama administration, I'm going to call it the Biden-Obama now, you know, again, saying all the right things, but doing very, very little to actually help people and actually changing people's lives. And that's part of the reason why...
Hi, I don't know how to say your name.
Jellica.
Jellica? Hi.
How cool.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, wow, thank you.
And John,
so there's a Discord server that the community is able to talk and encourage each other.
John, don't know what you're referring to. Maybe if you could
elaborate a little.
Elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to answer your question, John, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, please elaborate more so we can understand what you mean by Discord server. So yeah, basically it's it's really, really interesting because I feel like there's so much that has been done to actually help both women and LGBT members around the world under this administration.
Miriam said Discord is a place to chat.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you, Miriam.
We don't know what Discord is.
We don't know what it is, but after this, we will look it up, and we will definitely do it if we can.
Taking a note now.
Miriam is saying you can have text conversations and voice.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love it. Very, very cool.
We'll check that out.
Yeah, actually, I've noticed a new kind of popular thing is for YouTubers to give their cell phone numbers for people to chat or contact them directly. So we're thinking of maybe doing that. I don't know. You know,
have a
designated like number where we can like talk with people directly. I don't. We're still thinking about it. And
is it kind of like, I'm really gonna date myself here? Is it kind of like AOL chat? Is is it because somebody said that it's like old chat rooms?
Dated yourself.
I did
You
date
dated
myself.
yourself.
Yes, I remember the
Yes.
AOL chat rooms.
So wow, I love it. That's hilarious. Passion really helps, Susan. Absolutely. So I don't know. This election really scares me. Every election they say this is the most important election of our lifetime. This is the most important election of our lifetime. And the thing is, I really think it is. And I think
Wait, sorry, hold on. So it's Miriam said it's an app. It's a website. Okay, we'll check that out. Ember, it's funny you met your husband on AOL. Love that.
I love it. Wow, very very cool. Oh, how cool.
Oh, hi V Parker. Thank you for joining us.
Hi V Parker. Yay. So Lee Fern 39. We have been Eurovision fans. Well, I've been a Eurovision fan since I was a child, really.
Yeah.
Because
Your family loves Eurovision.
Right. I mean, I grew up in Israel up until the age of just about 12. So, I watched it. I remember, this was a really, really big deal in Israel every year. And I just, I've been obsessed ever since.
Yeah.
And of course, I really missed it when we moved to the US because it was such a big part of my life. So I really love Eurovision. I love everything that it represents. Obviously, it's become very political.
Oh, I love it. Justin said that we introduced him to Eurovision, and now he's addicted.
Yes. That's so exciting, Justin. I'm so happy. I am addicted. I'm literally addicted. I really liked it, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't always addicted, but I think especially as the world is becoming darker, kind of grayer, more negative, more polarized.
Yeah.
Eurovision symbolizes everything that the world is, everything that the world is becoming. Eurovision symbolizing the opposite. It's all about, peace and love and positivity.
That's why we really, really needed Eurovision this year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when they were trying to figure out if they should cancel it this year or how they should go about it, we were both talking about how each country should have their own individual performances, and that was before everybody started doing Zoom and going online with Eurovision. So it's kind of sad that we didn't end up having a Eurovision contest this year, but next year.
Next year, definitely.
But next year.
And it's really cool because Justin's saying that he's like watching videos from the 70s now. 70s was a great era for Eurovision. Absolutely great. Fun fact, Israel won in 1978 and then they won again in 1979 as well. So 2 years in a row, which is really, really cool. And Donna International is amazing for Lee. Really, really love her. Very, very cool. She was really a role model for me when I was growing up, especially when she won Eurovision in '98. That was just incredibly exciting. Incredibly exciting. So yeah, I'm so happy that people are getting into Eurovision. So happy. Yeah. Okay.
Kind of all over the place.
We're literally all over the place today, but you know what? This is going to be our
This is our last live.
This is our last live before the election.
Yeah.
And then afterwards we'll take a little break, and then we'll come back after the election, and we can't wait to talk about everything that's happening after the election.
Basically after the election, if you guys are wondering why we're MIA, is because we are spending some time with family.
Going on a vacay.
So, and then we'll come back.
Yes. But okay, so we talked obviously about the election. We talked about like the polls and everything, and I said I'm really nervous about. Thank you, Ed. I said I'm really nervous about Arizona. I'm really curious to know what your guys' predictions are. Now there's quite a few of us in our chat, so if you guys can just write in who you think will win.
Yeah.
Just write in Trump or Biden. I'm really, really curious to know what your guys' predictions are.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. I'm going to be honest with you. I was really scared 4 years ago. And to be honest, I didn't see a path for Trump to win. I just didn't see that path. But he did, and he pulled it out. And that was incredible. That was a surprise of the century. We celebrated like there's no tomorrow. I really hope we'll be able to do the same. This time
celebrated in downtown Portland while everybody was going crazy.
Everyone's crying. because we went out, and it's so hard to not smile and laugh and be joyous when everyone around you is crying, literally weeping. It was also really funny because if you take an Uber or whatever, a lot of people when they found out I was gay or that I was married to a husband. I got a lot of young people who would say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. My parents voted for Trump, and I'm so ashamed of them. And I'm so sorry for you." And blah 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 blah. And it was really funny because we voted for him himself. So you had all these strangers who were apologizing to us for the outcome of the election, and we could not have been happier. So I really hope this repeats again this year. Hopefully, that would be the goal, right? And yes, but here's the thing, Lee. It's true. The polls do say that Biden, and they also said in 2016, but here's the main difference between 2016 and 2020, because this is a really big difference. The polls that showed Hillary Clinton winning in 2016 were correct popular vote-wise, because she was about 3 points ahead in the popular vote, about 2.8, 2.6. And she won with about 2.5, 2.2% of the vote, in terms of the popular vote. So she did win the popular vote. Now, the polls in the battleground states showed her with a much smaller heads up. I think it was 1.8%, 1.6% in 2016. Now that was within the margin of error, right? So 3% within margin of error. So even though she was 1.6 points ahead, because it was within the margins of error, it was surprising, but very plausible that Trump would win. The difference between 2020 and 2016 is that in 2016, Hillary Clinton had a 2.3%, 3% ahead of Biden. Now, ahead of Trump. Now Biden is 8 points, 10 points ahead of Trump. That is way beyond margin of error, obviously. He could lose half of his support and still be above margin of error. And if the polls are any indication like they were back in 2016, he will definitely win the popular vote, and sadly will actually extend the difference in the popular vote. So I think actually now we're going to have a much larger difference. If before it was 2.5 million more people, I think now we're going to be seeing 3-4 million more people voting for Biden, which of course, if Trump wins, will then make this whole this whole idea of not my president, illegitimate president, all these people protesting, that will get them even more galvanized now, because even more people are going to be voting against him. And people are going to want to abolish the Electoral College even more so, which I think would be a dire disaster for the U.S. So, that really scares me. The other thing is, like we talked about the battleground, 2016, Hillary Clinton had a 1.6 margin, 1.6. She was a percentage ahead of Trump. Biden is 3.2%. He's actually running ahead of Hillary Clinton. And the interesting thing is that after the last debate, I felt like, the wind was blowing in Trump's back, and, the momentum was in Trump's favor. Unfortunately, because the media is completely hiding information from voters, they're in complete cahoots with the Democrats and the Biden campaign. It seems like that's switched, and it seems like the momentum is back with Biden again. And I think that's part of the reason why Trump is doing so many rallies.
Yeah.
Because he's at least, even though he's not able to get international attention in the news, that's positive. He's hoping to at least get it on a local level and ride some kind of a wave and really get the base out to vote. But the thing is, if Biden is running 3.2, 3.5% ahead of Trump, that's more than the margin of error at this point, which makes it very, very scary. Again, really, really scary. And part of the reason why Biden is only running 3.2% and not, closer to 5 or 6 is because of Iowa, Ohio, and Florida, which are much closer. Whereas, last year those actually were Ohio, Florida are actually in Trump's favor, and whereas last year they were closer. It was a toss-up between Hillary Clinton and Biden. There's still a toss-up, but the polls are showing that, you know, it's more likely for Trump to win those states. But what's happening is he still needs Pennsylvania, and he's running behind like 6 to 8 points in Pennsylvania. In Michigan, he's running behind 5 points. So that is what really scares me. And I think ultimately it's going to come down to, you know, the base, how excited people are, how enthusiastic people are.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is that Trump's voters are much more enthusiastic than Biden's voters.
Mm-hmm.
The bad news is that Biden's voters, people who are voting against the other candidate, are much more likely to vote, you know, people who are voting against the other person, are much more likely to vote for Biden than they are for Trump, meaning anti-Trumpers, there's more anti-Trumpers than there are anti-Bideners. So it'll be really interesting to see
well, I can speak
what happens.
From, you know, personally, you know, looking at all of our friends, well, not all of our friends, but
thank you, Princess Rainbows.
you know, looking at it personally, they don't really care who it is. Anybody against the orange man is really what it comes down to. It's not that they like Biden. It's not that they support Biden or Biden was their top pick. It's just gotten to the point where they're like, they don't care. They just don't want the orange man in office anymore.
Exactly. Anything, you know, a
Literally
cat would be
anything.
better. Literally anything. And
even if Hunter Biden himself was running, they would probably vote for him.
They would vote for him. You know, and I think that's the thing that really scares me, right?
Yeah.
Anything is better. And, you know, and that's, here's another difference between 2016 and 2020, is that in 2016, Hillary Clinton was actually very liked when she started running for president. She had very high approval and favorability ratings. What happened is the more she campaigned, the less she was liked. The more people found out about her, the less she was liked, which, by the way, works complete opposite with Trump. The more people hear about him, the more they know about him, his approval ratings go up. That's what happened. Remember when he started doing the Chivi press conferences on a daily basis? All the media outlets, you know, were just, they couldn't wait to show them and to run these, you know, these press conferences because they thought it would destroy him. But instead, his approval ratings went sky high when he was doing these daily press briefings. And of course, the media then decided to no longer air them because they realized it's actually helping him.
Or what they would do is they would air a little bit and then they would switch over to a commentary and then they would start talking about their own agenda.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, this is what really scares me, right? Because the more people find out about Trump, the more they like him. So now the media is not wanting to give him any airtime, and especially no positive airtime, obviously. And then the Biden campaign has really learned a lot from the Hillary Clinton campaign, and they've used Chivi to their advantage to basically sit in the basement forever. And what happened is that since the second debate, you're now seeing Biden actually stepping out of the basement. But before that, he was constantly in the basement. And that's part of the reason why his approval ratings were so high and his likabilities were so high, because people didn't get to hear how senile and utterly ridiculous he really is. Yeah. And, you know, now what's happening as he's more out there, the media is only showing, you know, the positive aspects of the Biden campaign. Yeah. They're not showing his gaffes. And of course, they're giving him really softball questions. So he's able to go on, you know, these interviews and really showcase, you know, and read answers, literally read answers to questions that he's being asked that were given to him before. And so what's happening is, even though his likability ratings and favorables are slowly declining, they're not declining fast enough for people to not like him enough to either not vote for a third party, or vote for Trump. And that is a really main and major difference, I think, here, is that Biden is being much more careful with where he's interviewed, how he's interviewed. The media is covering for him, and he doesn't have to be out there as much at all, and that really makes a difference in terms of his favorability ratings.
Yeah, Ting, you're absolutely right. Every question is staged for Biden.
Yeah, oh yeah. Every question is staged for Biden. And, you know, Ember is writing, Biden was in Iowa today and he's mumbling and not making much sense. They're pushing him so hard, it's elder abuse. I actually kind of agree with that sentiment and that statement. It kind of really is. And, you know, the thing that's really sad to me is, you know, you're talking about him mumbling and not making a lot of sense. That's probably not going to be shown, you know, on mainstream media. They're not going to show those portions of him talking. And that's really sad. And the other thing that's I think is absolutely outrageous is, you know, seeing Obama coming out and campaigning for Biden. where's the the norms that were set by his predecessors that never campaigned after they left office. You're supposed to go and look, if you still want to be active and you want to be an activist, that's totally fine, but it's just not presidential to go and campaign for against a sitting president. It's just not presidential. And Obama is literally breaking every single presidential protocol, yet he's actually being lauded for it. He's being celebrated for it. Meanwhile, people are saying that Trump is not presidential. It's all a game. It's all a mind game, and unfortunately, we're the ones that are losing in all of this. So those are the things that really scare me.
Susan, Obama not endorsing Biden immediately says everything.
It says everything.
I remember that. That was just, oh gosh, crazy.
Right, and I mean, now he's campaigning for him, and it's I'm hoping it's a little too late. I think part of the reason why they're campaigning for him is because they're realizing that the black vote might go to Trump in much higher numbers than they did in the last election. But again, this is such an uphill battle for Republicans, conservatives, and honestly, win or lose, I think that Trump has changed. I hope he has changed the Republican Party forever, and also the way that the Republican Party is viewed by minorities, because it's not just that the black minorities are changing their minds when it comes to Trump and the Republican Party. You're seeing this with Hispanics. You're seeing this with all minorities, and that's, I think, part of the reason why Kamala Harris was chosen, because they were really worried about the black vote. And of course, we know that the Indian vote, Trump enjoyed high favorability ratings from Indian Americans, and Kamala being half Indian, that is very helpful as well, because now they're going to be voting for Kamala by 72% to Biden Kamala. And the Indian American vote is actually a really growing segment of American politics that not a lot of people are talking about, but specifically I'm sure people in Michigan and people in Minnesota and Wisconsin know, and here in California, that's a really, really large percentage of the electorate, of the people that are voting. So that was a very smart vote, and it's just really surprising, right? Because Kamala called him a racist, and now Kamala called him a racist, and now she's part of this racist guy's ticket. So
I mean, if anybody remembers the debates. I just noticed, I don't know what you guys can see on your end, but on our end, our viewership just went up and our likes just went up. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for liking this video. It really helps when you guys give this video a thumbs up.
We say this all the time, and it's just something we're gonna have to, I guess, continue saying. So we apologize in advance, but it really does help our channel when you guys give us a thumbs up. So thank you so much. And also, we encourage you to see, like, if you guys are still subscribed, because we're continuing to get emails and messages and screenshots of people who were and are no longer subscribed. So check to see. Let's see, what else? Okay, so those are some of the things that were really, really nervous, made me nervous. And by the way, I was talking about the favorability ratings. Biden has a net positive favorability rating of 19.4%. Net positive, right? Net, like, that means that he viewed more positively, 19.4% of people than, being viewed negatively, while Hillary Clinton was viewed positively. She had a net positive rating of 5.4%. So Biden has a net favorability rating of 14 points. Now, 14 points is massive compared to 2016. That's a massive difference. And again, part of the reason why so many people did not want to vote for Hillary is because they really disliked her. But they don't know enough about Biden to dislike him.
And that's why they kept him in the basement.
And that's why they kept him in the basement, exactly. And that's why I think this time it's going to be so much harder for Trump to pull this off. And it's really sad, because I think, if it wasn't for Chivi, this wouldn't have even been a conversation. I think Trump would have won both the popular vote and it would have been an electoral college landslide. And unfortunately
the economy would have been roaring.
And unfortunately now, who knows? And it really doesn't look very good for him. I'm really hoping that I'm wrong, like I was in 2016. I really am. I do want to say, though, I mean, there are a couple of things that I think are kind of hopeful. There's really two polls that I pay attention to more than any other ones, because all the other ones are really not very reliable, and they also don't poll likely voters. They'll either poll the general public or they'll poll registered voters, but not likely voters. And there's two pollsters that actually poll not only registered but also likely voters. Yeah. One of them is the Rasmussen reports. They poll likely voters, and the Trafalgar group as well. They poll likely voters. And what's interesting is that with both pollsters, Trafalgar and Rasmussen, back in 2016, they both called the election for Trump, which was really fascinating. And they had the closest margins in the polls. So even if they showed Hillary Clinton winning in some of the places, it was within the margin of error, but they actually had Trump winning in a lot of places, and they called it for Trump. And the Trafalgar representative actually called this election about a week ago for Trump, which I find very, very fascinating. He actually said that the pollsters are wrong. He thinks it's going to be Trump. I'm really, really hoping that he's correct, because there are quite a few polls that they've done where they show Trump ahead. One of them was Pennsylvania, and I don't remember what the specific number was. I think it was like 5% where they were ahead in Pennsylvania. And then, now they came out with a poll in Florida. And I thought that was really cool, because in Florida, the poll that the Trafalgar group released shows that Trump is getting 50% of the vote, whereas Biden is getting 47%. Now, all of the other polls are showing Biden ahead. I don't trust those polls, to be honest. And I do think that a lot of those polls are going to be wrong. The question is, by what degree and how much. Whereas the Trafalgar, again, is actually asking likely voters. And the other thing that they're really trying to do is they're asking not only likely voters, but they're really trying to get an accurate representation of the voters in each state. So, they look at the percentage of registered Republicans, percentage of registered Democrats, independents, and they try to get a representative segment of each population for their poll. And they don't only do phone landlines, because a lot of Republicans will not answer landlines. A lot of Democrats don't answer landlines. They don't only do cell phones, and they don't only do online. They do a mixture of all three, which most pollsters will either do only online votes, cell phones, or landlines. That's why they're so accurate. And they're showing...
Hi, Bad Ombre.
Hi, Bad Ombre. Hi.
Oh, Lee, interesting about the BBC.
Just to let you all know, the BBC will be doing an all-night election results special in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Yes, there is going to be full coverage here in the BBC News Channel. Awesome. I think, honestly, my guess is that it's going to be all over the world. They're going to have live coverage. Obviously, the US will also have it.
Yeah, I mean, this is historic.
Yeah. I just don't think we're going to have a result or an answer. I really hope we will. To be honest with you, I really genuinely hope that we will. I hope that, Trump is going to be so far ahead, in the vote totals on the day of, that it's going to be, nearly impossible for Biden to catch up. But I don't think we're going to know, unfortunately, the night of. But I think, live coverage for sure. We're going to, this is the crazy thing is we're actually going to be driving throughout the whole day. But I'm excited because we're going to get to Oregon, and we'll be able to watch the election results there. So that's going to be really, really cool to see what it is. The other thing is Rasmussen, and I've spoken about Rasmussen because they do a very similar polling to the Trafalgar group. And Rasmussen was the only one that called Obama winning in 2012, when all the polls showed Mitt Romney winning, because they've recognized that something is happening on the ground in the last 2, 3, 4 days of the election that other polls were not able to pick up on, but Rasmussen did. They were able to call the 2016 election. They had the closest margin out of any pollsters as well. And in 2020, what I'm finding really encouraging is that Rasmussen is having the election much, much closer. Now they're doing a daily poll, and I think the last poll shows, Trump down by 1 point, so Biden up by 1. A couple of days ago, it was Trump up by 2 points. And again, it's really interesting because Rasmussen is now releasing polls every single day up until the election. And it's a really big deal because it is the likely voters and they're able to see what's happening on the ground. And that's part of the reason why it scares me, because I'm starting to see the momentum going in Biden's favor. Whereas after the second debate, it seemed like things are turning in Trump's favor. Now it looks like the momentum is actually turning the other way around. Having said that, Rasmussen has Trump up by 1 point in North Carolina, which again, it's really scary because it's only 1 point. It's very, very close, and it really is going to be a question of who's able to get out the base, who's able to get out the vote. And I think that's part of the reason why these rallies are so important, because, you know, thousands of people show up, and, you know, if Trump is able to pull it off, you know, by a few thousand points, a few thousand votes, that's going to make a really big difference.
Hi, the unknown.
The unknown magician.
Hi, the unknown magician.
So glad you were able to join us. Hi. And another poll that I thought was really encouraging too was in Michigan, because most of the polls in Michigan showing Biden up ahead by 5.
Hi, Justice. Sorry.
Ooh. Hi, Justice. I don't get to continue live often, but I really appreciate your insight and perspective. Tremendous respect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was really...
And a lot of you guys... Sorry, interrupted you.
That hombre, thank you so much. YouGov poll is totally fake. 55-45 women, men, and 47 Democrats.
Oh.
17%
And
independents.
Susan.
And Susan. Oh my
Thank you,
gosh.
Susan.
Thank you. Hopefully this will get you both at least a cup of coffee. It will.
Yes.
It really, really will. And it's going to get us our favorite cup of coffee. Thank you guys so much. Being vegan, you know, we can't get like regular coffee, but Starbucks has this really cool cold brew with oat milk and cinnamon, and it's oat milk foam and cinnamon, and it's like $5 a cup. So this is actually perfect. We'll each get a cup of coffee right after this. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Bad Hombre, and thank you, Susan. That really means a lot. It really does. Gosh, it's just thank you.
Thank you guys. A couple of you guys also brought up talking about Kanye, and Kanye being on the ballot in Iowa.
Yeah, and he also took a 2-page ad in the New York Times for his candidacy. So I'm really hoping that makes a difference. You know, I'm really hoping that, you know, he will be a spoiler. You know, I actually know a couple of people that are going to be voting for him. So they don't think he's going to win, obviously. I don't know how much of a spoiler Kanye is going to be this time. I hope it will. You know, my guess is that I'm hoping that most of the black people who would vote for Kanye, and I'm saying black people because I think that, you know, I'm sure there's going to be, the people that I know that are going to be voting for him are actually white. But I think a majority of his voters are probably going to come from the black community. And I'm hoping they're not going to come from, you know, Trump voters. Hoping it's actually going to be people who are not liking Trump and not liking Biden, and this is their protest vote for Kanye. But we'll see how big it's actually going to be. I really don't know.
Hannah wrote, "I would vote for Kanye over Biden any day."
Oh, definitely.
Agreed.
Yes, any day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that is, you know, that's scary to me. That would be really, really scary. So, yeah. And the other thing that I think is really, really important, this is something that I think is really important when it comes to Trump's chances. So looking at a lot of the polls, I'm very discouraged. But in order for Trump to get reelected, it was widely, you know, assumed that he would need to get a job approval of, you know, 45-46%. 45 would be
Good night, Lee.
Good night, Lee. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it must be really late over there.
Oh, yeah.
In UK.
Thank you for joining us. You know, in order for Trump to win, obviously, a lot of political experts say that he would need to have about 45% approval rating at the bare minimum. 46 would give him a fair shot. A lot of the polls that are doing his job approval ratings are actually showing him just within that range. You know, 44 to 46. What's interesting though is Rasmussen is actually having him. A couple of days ago he was at 52%. Today he's at 51. The Hill also did a poll where he's at 49%, and I really do trust the Hill poll for the presidential approval ratings. Not all of their state polls, but specifically their methodology for the presidential election is pretty accurate, and that's why a lot of times you'll find it pretty close with Rasmussen and the Trafalgar Group. And they're showing him at 49%, which again is pretty close, which means he does have a chance. You know, if people are approving of his job, you know, they're more likely to vote for him, obviously. So this is something that is very, very promising for me watching this. And even the Trafalgar has Trump up in Michigan by 2 points. And again, the representative from Trafalgar said that he actually believes Trump will win Michigan. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see if he does or not. And, you know, because that would be a game changer. If Michigan goes red again, that will be a game changer for sure. Because I think that might be a regular trend at that point.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like New Mexico when it turned blue, and then once it turned blue in 2004, it just remained blue. And I think the same thing with Colorado, and the same thing with Nevada in 2008. We're seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. It just really depends how you see the situation. My main concern is it seems like Trump is having a much tougher time, and it's going to be a much more uphill battle this time than it will be than it was last time.
Yeah.
And last time it was a pretty uphill battle for him to get elected. So we will see.
Ting's like, throw that paper.
Yes, 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 yes. I love it. I really, really do. It's so much fun. I really enjoy it so much. But here's the thing that also is kind of cool, because we talked about Arizona, and a lot of the polls are showing Trump losing in Arizona. And I did say that I think Rasmussen is the most, you know, it's the one poll that I would trust probably the most. And they're actually showing Trump up in Arizona by 4 percentage points. So I really hope that's the case. I really hope Rasmussen is on the money here. Because if Rasmussen is on the money here, that also means that if Trump wins, even though McSally is losing by a much larger margin than 4% to Mark Kelly, it also says that there's a chance that she might actually be able to pull it off riding Trump's coattails. And that is my main hope, is that basically Arizona will go red and McSally will somehow miraculously win, because she's so far behind as well. So we'll see. It'll be really, really interesting to see. You know, you know, obviously Alabama is a potential pickup for Republicans, but Republicans are facing a really tough time. And people are talking about you know, Trump is saying Republicans might get the House. I don't see that. I actually see Democrats potentially expanding their lead just because of the coasts. I see them expanding their lead. But, you know, in terms of the Senate, I really hope that the Republicans can hold on to a majority, because what's going to happen is if Trump is elected and Democrats are somehow able to get the majority of the Senate, it's game over. It's impeachment. So that would be really, really scary, because it'd be impeachment, you know, 17.0 already at that point.
You know, really
and it's going to be really hard to come back from.
Yeah.
And that really makes me nervous. So I'm really, really hoping that, you know, they're going to be able to pull off some of those,
fingers crossed,
you know, Senate races, including in South Carolina. I mean, if Lindsey Graham loses South Carolina, like, that would be it. That would be it, because I mean, that guy at this point is like a national treasure to me. Really, really is, because he's the person that really fights for the country. He came so strongly against Trump, and now he's, you know, one of his biggest supporters, because he doesn't care about the politics aspect of it. He literally, really, you know, and I think like McCain as well, even though I really disagreed with the way McCain, you know, treated Trump, I do think that McCain was a patriot, and I think Lindsey Graham, being such a good friend with him, probably shared a lot of that ideology of really loving our country. And I think if he loses South Carolina, that would be really, really sad. And of course, we have the North Carolina race, and that is really, really tight. And the Democratic challenger now, Tillerson, is up by a few points. So, you know, if Trump can win North Carolina, it seems like Republicans running for Senate and Congress are running a few points behind Trump. So if Trump loses, it's going to be, again, you know, full majorities for Democrats, both Senate and Congress. If Trump wins, I'm really hoping that a lot of these Republicans will be able to ride on his coattails and hold on to the Republican majority. That would be really the goal, because if they don't, and if Republicans lose, and if Trump loses, then we're going to have a lot more ideas like, you know, Antifa, which is apparently just an idea, right?
Yeah.
this idea that has like incredibly violent consequences is going to be just the beginning, because those groups are going to flourish. They might not protest as much, but I don't see them stopping at this point, because at this point their goal is to push the Democrats as far left as possible. And what people are not talking as much, which is really bothersome to me, is the fact that Kamala Harris is so far to the left, right? She's the most left senator than any other senator in the Senate. So there's clearly a hidden agenda when Biden chose her. He's not as a centrist as he's shown himself to be. And
you're voting for, come on, you're voting for Joe.
You're voting for Joe. Come on. Come on. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see the kind of, the kind of stronghold that Kamala Harris will have over Joe Biden. And in general, just, the left and the extreme progressive part of the Democratic Party. It's scary to see.
It's okay, Lee. You can stay as long as you want.
I can't wait to. Oh, so fun! Yay! Thank you. We love it. Stay for as long as you want. Yes. So I think these are all real. I think real kind of issues that we're dealing with here. It's gonna be really interesting to see what's gonna happen. And this is, I think, the one thing that I really did want to say before we leave today is, look, win or lose, obviously we're going to be back. We're going to come back live. We're going to take a break, so we won't be back next Friday, but I think we'll be back the following Friday, right?
Let me look at the calendar real quick.
So I think we're going to take a 1 week break after the election.
So we will be back live on the 13th, November 13th.
Okay, so not next week, but the week after.
Yes.
And I just want to say this: win or lose, whether Trump wins or he loses, whether Democrats have foolproof majorities or they don't, if they do, it's going to seem like all hope is lost. If they do, it's going to seem like that's it. It's over, and I think it's going to be really hopeless for people like me. And probably for a lot of you guys as well. And so if he does lose, I think what we're gonna try to do is really stay positive. And I don't mean stay positive, kumbaya, it's all gonna work out.
Let's all hold hands together.
I mean really stay positive in the sense of taking positive action. If Trump loses, I think at that point it would be so much more important for us to be that much more active, that much more vocal, and really get our voices out there. Because if he loses, the kind of shadow banning that we're seeing now, the kind of antics that we're seeing now from the media, from social media, it's going to be nothing compared to what's to come. And I think the only way that...
Oh, thank
Justin,
you, Justin.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Justin.
We will have a drink, and we'll think of you. Actually, let's do it now.
Let's have a drink now.
Justin, this is for you. Thank you. This glass is actually really dangerous. It doesn't look like that much, but it's an entire bottle of champagne, and it just drinks really easily. So, dangerous glass. Cheers! 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 Justin, I drink when I'm painting the house.
Love that.
Love that. You're still painting. I think, oh no, last week you were unpacking. So, okay, now you're painting.
Yeah.
You are working fast. I love it. We're the same way, actually. When we move, the first thing, we have to unpack everything within the first, couple of days. We paint everything, within the first week or two. And then we just want everything to be set and ready and just, super homey and nice. So,
David, to answer your question, being buzzed, actually, Ariel, it's very unfortunate.
It's a sad story. Yeah.
Ariel, it doesn't matter how much Ariel drinks, she never feels buzzed.
I think I have some kind of a genetic mutation. My father has my father used to have, he's no longer with us, but he used to have an incredibly high tolerance for alcohol, incredibly high. And my mom, funny enough, literally just could not get drunk. It just didn't matter. She would drink anyone under the table. And her being, from Russia, where, vodka is a national sport, a lot of men took her up to task saying, there's no way. And my mother has drank a lot of men under the table. I've seen quite a few men compete with her and literally fall off their chairs because she would outdrink them that much. Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't know what it is. I just cannot get drunk. And it's really funny because, when you say that to people, the one thing they want to do is they want to get you drunk. They're like, sure. And their goal is to get you drunk. So what I tell people is, A, don't waste your money because it's not going to happen. And, if I'm at a party or a wedding or, whatever, I'll compete with people. I'll drink it.
Well, you just get drunk off people's energy.
I get drunk off people's energy. Totally. Yeah. I don't need to drink to feel drunk, because the alcohol literally does nothing. But I can easily just, I can switch my mind to having a good time without any substances, which is really cool. Because I don't think a lot of people have that, but it's really cool to have it.
Yeah, but I'm a lightweight.
Funny story, actually. I backpacked through Europe and I was in Moldova and I met someone and it was actually really cool. Long story. I ended up being invited to the birthday of the Prime Minister's daughter of Moldova. Met all the leaders there. It was really, really cool. And then I was invited to a wedding. And basically, the Prime Minister would not believe me that I cannot get drunk. So him and I actually had a drinking contest. And I think after a few shots, he was just he started, wobbling and he realized he's not doing that well. And he was like, okay, I'm done. Can't drink anymore. And then at the, I went to a wedding and literally no one believed me. So all the men, started doing this competition with me. And it was just shot after shot after shot. And I could drink a bottle of cognac, tequila, vodka, and literally nothing. Unfortunately, as I've gotten older, I can get a hangover. But I won't get drunk. So I'll get the hangover, just, not the buzz. But I do remember all these men, drinking and...
So speaking of Eurovision.
Speaking of Eurovision, yeah. And their wives were so angry because at the end of the night, they literally could not walk home. They literally could not get to their car, walk to their car. So their wives had to carry them on one side and then I would have to help. And literally it was just, to help everyone to their cars because they just couldn't walk. And these are people who really take drinking as a sport. So I don't know what it is. It's very unfortunate.
Hannah, I love it. Too young to drink, drinking apple juice. Awesome.
Yeah, love it.
Love
it. Yes. And yes, I have had absinthe. And it was really fun. I've had the real absinthe, the one where you light it up and you drink it and everything. That was fun. I will say though, obviously I didn't have a bottle because I think I would die. But I think I might have actually had a buzz. But being fair, I was 14 at the time when I had it. I think I might have had it again when I was 20 and nothing. So who knows? It's just, I have some kind of a molecule in my system that just doesn't allow me to get a buzz.
Yeah.
And the same thing with substances.
Yeah.
I just don't really get anything. So it's very unfortunate.
Normally we wouldn't be drinking champagne, but since today is a special occasion and a celebration, we decided to pop a bottle of champagne.
Yes.
Actually, David's idea.
David Murdoch, when he told us that we can announce the video game.
Yeah.
That was his idea, and so we were just so excited to do it. So thank you so much, David, for that idea.
Celebration.
It's a real celebration, and actually after... we've already celebrated this, but I think now that we've announced it, it's that much cooler. So after this live, we're really gonna celebrate because it's such a monumental, really cool thing that happened. Very, very special. So I love it. Everyone's like, I'm like that, and it's really interesting, Justin, because you're the lucky one, being a heavy guy but still being drunk so easily, and very, very lucky on your behalf. Very, very jealous. I wish. I think I've been buzzed a total of maybe 5 times in my life, literally. And I'm counting from the age of like 9 to, to today. And, the times that I was buzzed, it lasted for a very short time. And it was when I drank on a completely empty stomach, i.e., I woke up in the morning, had nothing, and then, no food, and then drink. So, really interesting.
Dang, yes. I'm very excited about it. Just to let everybody know, it's not going to come out for another year. It's still under development. Today's just the first day that we're announcing it. Oh, there we go, another one.
Today's the first day that we're announcing. Yeah, and I think the beta version is going to come out soon too. So that's going to be really fun. It'll be interesting to see if we'll be able to like play it and how it's going to be. We'll let you guys know.
But the first, I want to say something else besides poster. It's a poster, but it's the first creative image. I don't even know what to really call it, but that we'll be posting that today on Instagram.
Oh yeah, check it out. It's really cool. It's very unique, and it is inspired by what we actually bought Zane to wear during the photo shoot.
Yeah.
So that was really, really, really cool. Yeah.
Oh, Susan, you don't have Instagram.
Basically, so at the very beginning of the video, we talked about Zane basically getting her own video game. It's going to be called Drag the Dead, and it's about zombies who, Zane wakes up one day and realizes that there's some kind of a disease that it's infecting people's minds and they're becoming zombies. Wink, wink, right? With everything that's happening, very, very real. And she has to fight these zombies in order to survive. And it's a really cool game that is in process. It's going to be developed hopefully in a year. And basically, we were sent the creative of what it would look, the main poster for it. And
thank you, Lee.
Oh my goodness, Lee! Thank you so much.
I like the pound sign. I like seeing the pound sign.
Thank you. It's the first time we saw it.
Yeah.
Thank you
Lee.
so much, Lee. That really means a lot. Especially since it's coming overseas, that's really, really cool.
That's fun.
That's really, really fun. Thank you.
It's really cool to see, people from overseas interested in American politics.
Hannah, when it's out, we'll definitely let you know. Basically, we were told about a year. So, right now it's been about 3 months or so. I'm guessing probably another 9 months or so before it's going to be out. Hopefully for the holidays next year.
Yeah, hopefully around, Halloween time next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah. I am scared about this election. I really, really am. I'm scared because I'm scared for our jobs. I'm scared for your jobs. I'm scared for our economy. I'm scared about what might happen. And I think the thing that really worries me is that a lot of my friends are saying, look, Trump is riding the coattails of, Barack Obama and his economy, and so you have nothing to be scared about because Biden is going to continue that legacy. And that is precisely why I'm so scared, right? Because it's true. I mean, when Obama took office in 2009, unemployment was 9.9%. It got down to 4.7%, which is, by all historical standards, that was relatively low. It got down to 4.7% by December. It got down to 5.2% by 2016. So it went from 9.9 to 5.2% in 2016, and then it went down another half a point by December 2019. It already dropped to like 3.5% in December of 2019. So it basically dropped from 4.7, from 5.2 to 3.5, during Trump's years. And what people are saying is, look, the unemployment actually dropped way more under Obama than it did under Trump. Now, that's true, but it was also because it was historically so high at almost 10%. What people are not realizing is that back at the time when unemployment was at 5.2%, the Obama administration, and not just the Obama administration, the Congressional Budget Office basically said that if the unemployment rate would go below the current rates at the time, it would actually push the economy beyond sustainable capacity. So the Congressional Budget Office under Obama was against further decline in unemployment because they were worried that it's going to be unsustainable for our economy and actually destroy it. I mean, think about it. They actually wanted people to be unemployed. That is what the Congressional Budget Office under Obama actually said, which really, really scares me. The Treasury Department, by 2016, actually concluded that the economy was at full employment. So back when we were at 5.2%, the Treasury Department actually said that we are at full employment. There's nowhere to go down. And what's interesting is, when Trump said, hey, we need to go, below, we need to get to 3% growth, economic growth, we need to get to 3% unemployment, people thought he was crazy. People thought it was unrealistic. People thought, none of this is possible. And he completely ignored this idea. He completely ignored this consensus, thank goodness. And he focused on tax cuts. He focused on spending. And those are really, I would say 4 major things that Trump has done that is not like anything that the Obama-Biden administration has done. Focusing on tax cuts for all Americans, right? And we know as a result now, Americans are making a lot more money than they did during the Obama years and pay a lot less taxes, and not just the rich, but everyone. So, he focused on lowering taxes. He focused on increased spending, which a lot of people are upset about, especially conservative hawks, fiscal conservatives. But a lot of that spending came for our military. A lot of that spending is for our vets, which I think is incredibly important and really, really important to spend on our military as well, because that is what actually allows us to become better, to have better technology, and then sell that technology overseas. We're selling 10 F-35 airplanes to the United Arab Emirates. That's going to net literally billions of dollars to the government's pockets. That's all thanks to Trump's increases in the spending that we're now able to make more money. So tax cuts, increase in spending, and pressuring the Fed to lower the rates to 0 and keep them that way for a long time. And if you guys remember, economists, politicians, analysts, everyone was saying that that's absolutely terrible, should not be done. Trump's economic ideas are insane. They're going to harm their country. But instead, we saw unprecedented growth, literally unprecedented growth. And all of this is because, Trump actually had the cojones, if you will, to stand up to everyone, including the Fed, and really pressure them to keep the rates so low, which I think was really, really important. At the time, Democrats called it reckless, which, and irresponsible, which, again, is just incredible because all of these things that, the Democrats called, reckless, irresponsible, told him not to do, all of these things Trump did, and now they're saying that he's riding on the coattails of the Obama economy. The nerve of people to say that is just, beyond anything I can imagine. Saying the 3% growth was delusional, I mean, come on. It's incredible, right? So, some of the interesting aspects that I find under the Trump economy that we did not see under Obama's economy are that 25-year-olds to 54-year-olds, right? That's the main working group of this country, 25 to 54-year-olds. So 25 to 54-year-olds, either employed or looking for jobs, saw the first rise, the first time since the 1980s that we're actually seeing a rise in the number of 25 to 54-year-olds that are either employed or looking for jobs. That means that since the 1980s, i.e. 40 years, literally 40 years, we have not seen a rise. So as the population grew, despite the growth of the population, the number of people actually working did not grow. And if anything, it shrunk. And I think that's something that people really, really have to take into account and really think about. How much the population grew since the 1980s to today, and the fact that the number of employed people actually shrunk really scares me, because what happens is if you're unemployed for more than 2 years, you're off the statistics. You're considered not looking for work. So you're no longer considered unemployed. You're just not counted, period. So many people in the last 40 years could not find a job, and as a result were just unemployed, but they're not part of the statistics. So the reality is that the unemployment number was so much higher than what it was, all of these years. And with Trump, we're seeing people who were not even counted, literally not even considered or counted, are now back into the fold of society working and contributing and benefiting and improving their lives as a result of all the good that has come out of this administration.
Yeah.
So, I'm really worried that a lot of that is going to go, right? So we talked about taxes, we talked about spending, we talked about the Fed, and of course deregulation, which is something that the Democrats are talking about, canceling immediately and regulating everything again. But it was those deregulations that allowed us to become energy independent. It's those deregulations that allowed companies to expand here and corporations to expand and hire. And it's those deregulations that allowed small businesses to prosper and hire more as well, which is what caused a lot of these people who were, to come out of the fold and get a job.
Yeah.
Deregulation is not necessarily, bad if it's done in a smart and wise way. And, we saw, again, the UK did this a few years ago where, they passed a law that for every new regulation to have to be canceled out, and they saw their economy improve greatly as a result of it. So the Trump administration passed an executive order doing the same thing. Basically, for every regulation, new one, two need to be wiped out. But what happened is, instead of having 2 that are canceled out, the Trump administration has been able to get 8 that are canceled out. So for every new regulation, we're having 8 that are being canceled out, and that just drove growth and unprecedented numbers, really unprecedented, and really makes a huge difference.
Susan, I love your comment about how you're saying that you're making more money now.
Being a piano teacher, I can say that I'm making more money now than 5 years ago. Wow.
And you used to work 2 to 3 jobs because of taxes. Wow.
God, I mean, this is just incredible. So, and Lee will answer your question about the healthcare as well.
Also too, Susan, I also wanted to say I love your comment about saying getting all together for the release. I think that's a great idea.
That's such a great idea.
We'll see. But I love that idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the release is going to be,
Next
year. So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we will be able to get together for the release. That'll be fun. I mean, it's just really cool because it's like it's a video game. Again, we're like nobodies. Like literally, we're nobodies, right? We're just a couple of guys that decided to open, a YouTube channel and as drag queens.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool that this is happening.
Yeah.
Because it would just never be expected.
I still just can't.
Can't believe it.
I really can't. It's just.
I mean, it's all thanks to David because he says something and he also had the guts to stand up, and see what's happening, whether he agreed, with Zane politically or not.
Yeah.
I think that is to a lot of his credit. It's incredibly impressive, And Susan, to your point, in 2016, the median income in the U.S. for a family was $62,898. $62,000 in 2016. You know what's really sad about all this? I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, $62,000 for a lot of people in America, but that was $257 more than what it was in 1999. So from 1999 to 2016, basically in 17 years, income levels went up by $257. Those are the numbers that came out of the Obama administration. Okay, in 8 years that Obama was president, and in 8 years that Bush was president, we were able to get $257 more as a family. I mean, inflation has grown exponentially higher than that.
Yeah.
Exponentially higher. And over 3 years, 3 short years under the Trump administration, the average family has netted more than $6,000 in their pockets. Increased in terms of their pay.
Those numbers are crazy.
So we went from 62,898 to 68,703. I mean, that's kind of amazing, right? I mean, that's what 5,000. I'm doing quick math. 5,900 or so, right? $5,800 dollars more per family in 3 years, when in 17 years we've only increased our pay by $257. That's just a lot, just in those 3 years. So the idea that this economy is somehow growing on, Obama's coattails, it's a joke. It's really a joke.
Yeah.
And I think if people just knew the statistics, if they knew the numbers, if they knew the reason why the jobs are doing as well as they are, no one would think this way. Literally no one. And I think that also is part of the reason why, despite the fact that we're having, this, Chivi going on right now,
Yeah.
despite Chivi, still 56% of all U.S. adults are saying that they're better off today than they were 4 years ago, which is why we haven't seen Biden ask people, think about whether you're better off today than you were 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Something that Trump did. He would ask constantly in 2016.
Yeah.
Are you better off? Are you better off today than you were 8 years ago?
Yeah.
And something that Democrats are not doing. That's why they only want to talk about Chibi.
Yeah, it's all a distraction.
It's all a distraction.
All a
It
distraction.
really, really is.
But Bad Hombre, I love your comment as well.
Bad hombre. My wife and me both making double in the last 5 years. Double! Wow! That's incredible.
Incredible.
Wow. That is really, really, really cool. Very, very cool. By the way, I think that's part of the reason why none of that was discussed during the debates, right? We had 2 debates. Both of them were basically the same. We talked about Shivi, we talked about race,
Talked about Chibi again.
and we talked about healthcare. Those are the 3 topics that we talked about. Chibi,
Yeah.
race, healthcare. We didn't talk about economy, we didn't talk about jobs. The only time when we talked about economy was in relations to what's happening with Chibi. We didn't talk about foreign policy at all because, again, it's clear Trump would have annihilated
Completely
Biden
annihilated him.
when it comes to it. But it's also really, really sad, right? Because, Trump at this point is nominated to, by 4 world leaders for a Nobel Peace Prize for what he's done, and the American people don't even get to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think, very, very sad. And very, very unfortunate. That I think says a lot. And again, a lot of that comes from jobs that specifically deal with manufacturing and agriculture, which is due to Trump's trade wars, which a lot of economists are not happy about. But because of these trade wars, we were able to get an increased level of manufacturing, blue-collar jobs, and agriculture, which American farmers were really, really suffering. And even though they were suffering during the trade war, most of them were still supportive of the president because they knew that in the long term it's going to help them. And it did. It really, really did. Now, healthcare?
Lee, yes. Lee, you ask a question. Do you think the U.S. will ever have free health care?
Ever? Yes, I do think the U.S. will have, eventually, it will have free healthcare. My thing is that, my opinion is that nothing is really free. So, when you talk about free healthcare, someone has to pay for it, right? Someone has to pay for it. It has to come from somewhere. And so, what's going to happen is that free healthcare will essentially come from taxpayer money, and it will come in the form of increased taxes.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually going to end up costing more than what it would cost if we were able to just buy healthcare. I'm really not sure why we cannot buy healthcare across state lines. This is something that Trump talked about 4 years ago. He's not talking about it now, so clearly there's some kind of a monopoly, some kind of a chokehold over policymakers when it comes to healthcare with insurance companies, because they're not able to open it to across state lines where these companies are able to compete with one another, and with insurance. Insurance company working in Pennsylvania can sell insurance to someone in California. Can't do the same thing with health insurance, unfortunately, which is also part of the reason why so many people lost their health insurance after Obamacare, because providing these services became so expensive that a lot of insurance companies just went bankrupt and weren't able to compete. So do I ever think it's going to be free? Not really, because if it's free, we're still going to end up paying for it, and we'll end up paying for it more, which is part of the reason why I'm against universal health care in the U.S., because the U.S. system, and this is what a lot of Americans are not fully comprehending, and what a lot of Europeans are not fully understanding, is that America as a country and as a society was built on a completely different set of ideals. Completely different, right? And we're not just talking about like individuality and everything else. We're talking about self-determination. The idea that Americans are supposed to be able to, the pursuit of happiness and self-determination. The idea that you're going to be able to choose your own healthcare, and you're going to be able to choose your own path in your life and how you take care of yourself, right? You get to choose whether you want to save money, you get to choose whether you want to get healthcare, or and how you spend your resources. Because if you don't have healthcare and you end up getting in the hospital, you end up having thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. Something that I experienced when I was 18. Literally, my healthcare ran out 2 months before I was set to go backpacking for 4 months in Europe, and I didn't want to renew my healthcare. I figured I would renew it when I come back. 3 weeks before I go traveling, I ended up having an allergic reaction to something. I went to the hospital, spent 2 days, and as an 18-year-old, came out with over $30,000 in debt.
Yeah.
So, my decision to, at the time, save myself, a couple of $100, because my healthcare was $100 a month at the time. Today, it would be closer to $500 a month because of Obamacare. That's how much it increased. At the time, it was $100, but being an 18-year-old, I wanted to save the money for traveling. When I came back from my travels, I saw my bills, and it ended up being over $30,000. That was a decision that I made. It really taught me a lesson. And that is what's beautiful about this country, is that, the reason why people say America is the greatest country on earth, it's not because it's the easiest place on earth. It's not because we get the most amount of benefits on earth. What makes this country so great and so unique, and really specifically unique to America and not to other countries, is the fact that, here it's all about self-determination. It's the pursuit of your own happiness, and it's your own it's your own responsibility to take care of yourself. Now, some people will say, look, it's nicer when you have a village, taking care of each other. And that's very true. But that's what makes the U.S. so beautiful, is that in the U.S., instead of having a government that takes care of you, the system was built in such a way where you had communities coming together and helping one another. So you had a very strong sense of self, of individuality, and then you had a very strong sense of community, and that's where churches, places of worship came into play, and a lot of other social services that were mostly run through donations, through communities coming together. And before we had Social Security, before we had all these things that took care of our senior citizens, we had the communities that would come together and take care of them. And once we started introducing all of these social services, what happened is communities started breaking apart because people were less reliant on each other and more reliant on the government. And so these communities basically started falling apart because there was no need for them anymore, since the government was taking care of people. And I'm worried that healthcare would be very, very similar in that sense. So, that's definitely something I'm nervous about. Having said that, the American healthcare system is notoriously corrupt, terrible, bad. We all know this. It needs to be fixed, gutted and rebuilt. Whatever. There's definitely something that needs to happen. And I think opening up to be able to buy insurance across state line would be phenomenal. Really, really phenomenal if we could do that. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, we can't. I don't know why, but unfortunately we can't. So let's see. Zane, have you seen the news?
Ting, you were talking about chibi being used for, I think we talked a little bit about this in our last live, how these,
wow, interesting.
They're lying about this.
What do you mean by that, Ting? Because basically what we know, it's that...
on your comment on... I'm sorry,
you said, Zane, have you seen the news about how chibi is being used for flu and heart attacks just because of the CARES Act? What do you mean by that? Because, so we know, and again, we know from personal anecdotes through doctors that work at hospitals. Our family has a lot of doctor friends, and basically what they say is that they are obligated, literally obligated, to write down if someone dies of a heart attack, but they happen to have chibi, they're obligated to say that they died from chibi. If someone, has a stroke and they happen to die, if someone dies of, whatever ailment, of cancer, if you die of cancer but you happen to catch chibi, official reason for death is chibi. And the reason why is because the hospitals get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they don't only get a lot of money for you being dying of chibi, they also get a lot of money if you are hooked to a breathing machine, for example. And what we found out is that a lot of people actually ended up dying and having their symptoms become much worse because they were hooked up to these machines. Because those machines are supposed to be last resort only, and if you're hooked up too early, or if your symptoms are not severe enough to where you would be hooked up, being hooked up can actually make your symptoms worse.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people now, we're finding out these studies are coming out, and basically by being hooked up to these machines that were mandatory. I mean, in the US, in California, literally, it's mandatory to hook you up to a breathing machine if you get chibi and you go to the hospital, because the hospitals get more money.
Yep.
So it's by law they have to hook you up, and then more people died as a result, and their symptoms got worse. So that just really, really scares me.
Oh, Justin, wow, that's terrible.
My sister has stage 4 cancer, and she has had to miss treatments because of the lockdowns.
Wow, that's terrible.
Wow, Justin, I'm so sorry. Wow, that's terrible. That's really terrible. I can't believe she had to actually miss treatments because of the lockdowns. That's insane.
Oh, Ting
Ting
clarified.
responded with, the CARES Act is promoted by Pelosi for last 6 months, and they get more money for the ventilators. Exactly, yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what we were saying, and I think that's what makes it so scary is and how they're promoting this, and it's really become so political. It really has very little to do with people's health, and it's that much more about the politics of everything that's happening, and that is what is so sad about all of this. Oh, wow, Justin, I am so sorry. We know what it's like to have someone. My stepfather passed away from cancer just a few years ago, and it's a devastating disease, and stage 4 is no joke. So our hearts really go out to you. Really, really sorry, and especially during this time. I mean, it must be so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's been really frustrating for us because we really wanted, really wanted to have a baby, and we really wanted to start the process of having a baby and a surrogacy, and we found an egg donor, a wonderful woman, and it's been so frustrated for us because we've had to postpone everything as well. And so it's incredibly frustrating because not only are we postponing everything, but because of these lockdowns in California, we're not able to work. So we're locked down, not able to move forward, losing money, and as you guys know, all of these procedures are incredibly expensive, and it's just the state is not making it easy on us, that's for sure. California is not making it easy at all, and I'm sure a lot of people are suffering with a lot worse ailments than us. Again, Justin is a great example of that. Unfortunately. So yeah, very, very, very interesting pointing regarding the Health Cares Act. And yeah, they do get more money for ventilators, which is why they made it mandatory for ventilators to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, let's Lee, yes, gay pride events. As far as we know, no. Maybe some states have allowed them, but not here in California.
Not in California. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we have the most strict rules, but
Yeah.
I think we probably do.
Yeah, I think most pride events have been canceled, and they've become more online than anything else.
Everything has become more online.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to them next year. Really looking forward to them. Fun fact: Zane's first pride event ever was with me.
Yes, that's true.
Really
in
cool,
Israel.
very exciting. Yeah. It was really, really fun.
Yeah.
So
And well, Tel Aviv is what considered the gayest,
Tel Aviv is
most
consistently
gay
the
friendly
friendly city.
in the world.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. It
It was really, really, really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So since then, it's been a tradition of ours to go and celebrate every Pride event. So it's been really a shame that we haven't been able to do it this year, but we're definitely looking forward to it next year. So.
Okay, you guys. Well, we have officially been live for what, about
2.5 hours.
2.5
almost 3
hours. This is our last live. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and thank you guys so much for being a part of our celebration today. Very, very excited. Make sure to get out and vote if you guys haven't done so already.
Yes, definitely vote. Before we go, I just want to answer Elise. Actually, sadly, no. So I have literally backpacked just about everywhere in Europe except the UK, which has been... I haven't been to the UK, and I haven't been to Croatia, Albania, Serbia. I haven't been to. And so this is definitely on our list. We definitely wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of plans have been canceled, unfortunately, for various reasons. So it's been very, very unfortunate. We've been planning to go to the UK for years now. And, once my father passed away, then my stepfather had cancer. He passed away.
Yeah.
I broke my foot, that canceled. And then Chibi happened. That was so literally for years now we're planning. I can't wait to go. I really, really, really hope we get to go soon. Because UK is supposed to be incredible. Really, really beautiful. And not necessarily London. I mean, just the UK landscape in general is supposed to be absolutely breathtaking. And weather-wise, you actually have what I would consider my favorite weather. So I would love to go.
Yes, Ed, vote.
Vote, yes.
And Julie, I'm so sorry, we're actually signing off now. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie, but so glad you were able to join us even for a moment.
This is for you, for everyone.
Yes.
Cheers to everyone. Hopefully everybody has a great weekend. Stay safe over, Halloween weekend.
Yes. Stay safe. Enjoy your Halloween if you're celebrating. So we will not be next Friday, but we'll be here the Friday after. Can't wait to talk to you guys about the results, if we'll have any, what's happening, how it's happening.
Yep.
And I just can't wait to talk about how we're going to move forward after this. Win or lose, we're going to move forward. Not just with our channel, but like in life in general, we have to move forward, win or lose. And so, our goal is to become much more active, I think, over the course of the next year, because I really want to make a difference we can't make a huge difference in this election cycle, but I really do want to make a big difference a sizable difference in the midterms election. I really want to reach out to young people and specifically also people from our community.
Thank you, Lynn. Definitely,
so much.
Definitely hugs to the puppies.
Oh, thank you. They're sleeping now, but I would love to. One of those days we'll show them to you. I think we there's a couple of there's a YouTube.
I think our first podcast or second podcast we have photos of our babies.
Both?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, very, very cool. Yeah. So
okay, you guys. Well, a couple things before we go. Make sure to go over to Instagram. Once we sign off, we're gonna post the poster over there. We will be back November 13th on our live. So check that out. And also to check out, we will be posting, fingers crossed with YouTube, we'll be posting a follow-up to the walkaway video on House of DMaaj channel, and an extended long version reaction video on my channel. So you guys can see those. And good luck. Have a great weekend.
Vote.
Vote.
And thank you guys so much for joining us, and not just joining us, but really making this a community. Like every time someone signs in and we get a new person in there, I just see everyone just like, hi so-and-so, hi so-and-so.
Love that.
It's just so cool. I mean, it's really cool because we've said this before. For us, we felt so isolated, so lonely.
Yeah.
Because of our just pure political views. That's it. We felt so isolated,
especially
and
being
so
in California,
lonely, especially being
in the Bay Area,
and in Oregon when we were in Portland.
Yeah.
And we just at one point we were like, other people have to feel this way too, and we just thought, okay, if other people feel this way too, maybe we can create something where we can all come together. And it's just been really incredible because we have all come together. And the thing is, it's you guys that are making this community. I literally mean that. I mean, really, really. When you look at Ed, literally saying hello to everyone. Justin, who's like so incredibly... just everyone, literally everyone. Cher, who's just been amazing to us. And Lynn. And I mean, Ting. I mean...
We're
Literally
gonna start
everyone.
naming everybody's
Yeah,
name.
I'm starting.
We have
I
to
don't
name
want to like.
everyone's name.
I just basically, you guys make our week. I mean, we look forward
Yeah.
to this. Like, we really, really do. And I know we keep saying this, and it's just gonna be a theme. I apologize in advance. You know, we're just gonna like keep thanking you forever, and like
No more apologizing. We'll just own it.
we'll just own it.
Yes.
There we go. We'll just own it, because you guys keep us going. And
Yeah.
like, we're really looking forward to this. You know, when things get really tough, we really look forward to it. And even with the dogs, you know, it has nothing to do with politics, but even with the
Yeah.
dogs, we were
Oh
in
my
such
goodness, so many messages from you guys, you know, encouragement for our fur babies.
we were in such a dark and sad place.
Yeah.
You know, because we thought that's it. You know, and we know the
Yeah.
time is coming. They're old. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But we thought that was it, and then just to read
And with dogs, I mean, it can go from like a good day to a bad day, like, you know, like that
Like
when
that,
they're
yeah.
older. So, you know, it's really scary when they get older.
So you guys really keep us going, and
Yeah.
for that we are eternally grateful.
Yeah.
Genuinely, really, eternally grateful.
Okay, you guys. Well, bye for now, and we'll see you guys on the 13th.
Thank you guys. Bye for now.
Bye.
Can't wait to see everyone.